AIA Vitality. Your health is every choice you make. We are part of a global wellness program with over 1.65 million members in AIA across Asia. And in Singapore, we have more than 100,000 members on AIA Vitality. Members live healthier by knowing their health through online health assessments and screenings. They improve their health by logging exercises and enjoying the rewards to keep them going. And indeed, members are making improvements in their health. Even the vitality age gap has narrowed to less than a year. Best of all, you earn points for every activity. The higher your status, the greater the rewards, including up to 15% off insurance premium on selected AIA plans. To keep you going, there is the weekly fitness challenge with personalized targets to help pace and improve your fitness. When you complete the challenge, you get a spin on the Vitality Wheel to earn Vitality Coins, which you can use at the marketplace. That's not all. You also earn AIA Vitality Points for completing these activities. And very soon, you'll be on your way to Platinum status. And we sweeten the deal further with many exciting partner benefits that you can enjoy. With AIA Vitality, nothing gets better than a healthier you. So get onto AIA Vitality today because your health is every choice you make.
It's a Sunday sizzler in the AIA Singapore Premier League as the defending champs welcome last season's runners-up. The White Swans remain the league's only unbeaten team, largely thanks to Takahiro Koga's heroics on Wednesday. There were no such concerns for Gavin Lee's Stags as they got back in the winning trail with a 7-0 demolition of the Young Lions. But it'll be a different test tonight as they try and breach the meanest defence in Singapore. Last season, the second half blitz saw the Stags come from behind to win here. Can they do that again tonight and end up on top of the table? It's Albirex Niigata versus Tampines Rovers in our weekend feature blockbuster, and it's live. Good afternoon, everybody. Wherever you're watching around the world, a warm welcome to the Jurong East Stadium, live on Singtel StarHub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page, OnePlay Sports, and our associated global partners. It's the feature game of the weekend. The defending champions, Albirex Niigata, taking on the team that finished runners-up to them last season, the Stags of Tampines Rovers. And that's one of just two games that are broadcast live simultaneously on our partners and platforms. Elsewhere this afternoon, the Lion City Sailors, who drew with Albirex on Wednesday night, take the trip to OTH, our Tampines hub, to take on Geylang International, who are badly in need of points. It's no question the most competitive AIA SPL season in recent memory. At the bottom of the table, Tanjung Pagar United with that first win for 2,361 days. Shout out to the Jags, beating the Young Lions by 4-0 yesterday. They climb off the bottom of the table. And at the top, as you can see from that, Houang with their win at Balestier yesterday are top, but both Albirex and potentially Tampines can go top with a win here this afternoon, so the stakes really are high. Being the feature game, Mr. Roshan Rai, former SPL player and AFC ambassador, is alongside me. And Roshan, I know we keep saying it, but we mean it every week now. The games all seem to mean something. Another high-stakes clash today.
You know, we've had a wonderful week. We had midweek, we had Albirex against Lion City Sailors. Here we are again with two top sides coming up against each other. It's really hot and steamy at the moment. I know you mentioned Sunday sizzler. It's a sizzler, all right. Hopefully we'll get some high-quality football.
It's funny you say that. I thought Tanjung Pagar United and the Young Lions did really well backing up yesterday from their game on Wednesday, but it's going to be intense out there. Now, on Wednesday, Albirex were in action and they threw away. I mean, there's lots of ways you can interpret this game. A great point away from home against the Sailors. But when you look back at the action with Roshan and myself now, you'll see they really threw away a 2-goal lead that was gifted to them ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, they did really well at the start to score these 2 goals. Offset piece situations. Taniguchi here heading it in towards the back of the net. I think it comes off a Lion City Sailors defender than Nakyudin perhaps on its way through. But look, just a little bit sloppy from Lion City Sailors from that perspective in terms of conceding goals from these set-piece situations. A little bit careless, a little bit loose. And Albirex perhaps panicked a little bit towards the end of this game. And it was a Lion City Sailors that could have come away with all 3 points. I think this was so important. There was a chance from Taniguchi just to make it 3-0. He missed that opportunity. Plazibat gave LCS something to hold on to going to that second half. Made it 2-1, and then Georges Philippe didn't have a great game in that match, coming away with that late equalizer and picking up a point for the Lion City Sailors, a hugely important point for them.
Yeah, just goes to show what football's like, isn't it? And Roshan's right. Georges Philippe didn't have a great game, but he climbs up at the end there to get that headed equaliser, and he's the hero. That's just the way football works. Now, there's only one reason really why the Lion City Sailors didn't win that game. Obviously, in the first half, their own defensive frailties from the set piece, but the goalkeeper of Albirex Niigata, Koga, had an absolute blinder, including saving the first penalty save in the season so far.
I think I know he conceded 2 goals in this game, but it could have been far more than that, because Lion City Sailors had some really good chances, good opportunities, in great positions to get more than the 2 goals that they did. Again, you see a great example of that there. I mean, gets himself into a good position, quick reaction save, and then this save of the penalty from Plazibat to, at that point in time, keep the scores at 2-1, keep Albirex in the lead there. He's been outstanding for them, because at times, this Albirex side, what they will give you is an opportunity to create chances and opportunities against them. But Koga so far has stood up strong, stood up tall for them in goal, and he's been outstanding, not just with his hands, great with his hands, wonderful shot stopper, great goalkeeper coming out crosses to claim crosses and things like that. His distribution has been very good and hugely important for Albirex as well.
Yeah, Albirex, I was going through the records today because obviously champions in 4 of the last 5 seasons, the likes of Akawa, Fukudome, Nozawa, they always seem to have a great goalkeeper, and they do say, Roshan, to be a title-winning side, you've got to have a great goalkeeper. They also say you've got to have a goal scorer that in a season like the AIA SPL, when it's 21 games, needs to give you 15 to 20 goals a season. Now, he wasn't playing on Wednesday, but have they found one following in the footsteps of Hoshino and this season's top scorer now with Houang, Tomoyuki Doi, with Suboi?
Yeah, look, that was a name that I was going to mention as well, Doi. Speak about needing strikers, and look at what Houang have with Tomoyuki Doi leading the line for them, top of the table. Yeah. And the same, you know, you hope, if you're an Albirex fan, you hope that Suboi is going to have that same impact. He got off to a really good start this season with the 3 goals that he scored. He's also creating chances, 3 assists as well for this Albirex side, creating opportunities for them. He works incredibly hard across that forward line. It was unfortunate that he missed the game against Lion City Sailors, but here he will add a lot of quality in those attacking positions, a good focal point for them as well as somebody who can run in behind that defensive line.
And a hallmark of this Albirex team is they all play for each other, they all work as a team. He's got 3 goals and 3 assists already this season, Suboi. As Roshan mentioned, he did miss Wednesday night. We're told that was concussion, but he's back fit, and of course, unlike a lot of these players that will start, he'll be fresh as a daisy, having not even been used off the bench on Wednesday night. So that's a look at Albirex. What about their opponents today? Tampines Rovers, who have a very good recent record against Albirex, incidentally. We'll come to that in a minute, but let's look back on their 7-star showing against the Young Lions, and it was a win they needed after that humiliation, really, at the hands of Houang. Big bad Boris Kapitovic became only the 2nd player this season to get a hat-trick after Stipe Plazibat, and I think it was Tomoyuki Doi rather than Plazibat, sorry. And he is a real, he's an old-fashioned top-front target man, isn't he?
Yeah, he certainly is. I mean, he knows where the goal is. He knows to get himself into positions like that, because he does have teammates who will create opportunities for him, who will progress the ball for this Tampines side, to get it into these positions where, you know, he can then take advantage of that. I think he's clever there. He probably pushes the ball a little bit too wide, but he's smart enough to get himself a penalty. 5 goals for the season now for Boris Kapitovic. But what he does is he's also that, like you mentioned, that old school sort of center forward in his ability to hold the line for them, to hold the ball up. So if Tampines feel the need to sort of change it up a little bit, go a little bit more direct, they get it into him, he hangs on to it, and then he has support and runners coming in and arriving to help him out.
And with that 3rd goal we saw there, was that a turn of pace I saw as well? I mean, again, we'll talk of Dan Bennett starting today, by the way. Against Albirex, you're going to need pace, because it's not a cliche, it's a fact, I'm afraid. They are the fittest team in the league, and I think that gap is closing between them and the rest. So you are going to need people to be able to run for the 90 minutes.
Yeah, you certainly are. And the thing is with Tampines' setup, again, as I mentioned with Boris, and we saw his turn of pace acceleration there to get away from that Young Lions defense. But also, if he does attract central defenders towards him, that creates a space in behind for runners to get off and get in behind the opposition defense, run in behind him to create opportunities for themselves. I think from a tactical perspective as well, what I've noticed about Albirex this season is they do struggle with crosses coming into the box. Lion City Sailors were able to exploit that with crosses towards the back post and attacking those balls towards those areas. So we might see a little bit of that from Tampines here, looking for those crosses into Boris to attack.
Yeah, Dan Bennett, who does start, as I said, he's got high. He's always a threat at set pieces, and obviously Boris will be a threat in that situation as well. Let's put the spotlight on the Stags club captain, Yassir Hanapi. First time ever in a season he's got 5 goals, and he's done it, after just half a dozen games. You know, he got a couple of very important goals in this Lion City Sailors match, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly did. I think he got off to a really good start here. This is that equalizing goal that somehow made it all the way through. And I think he's spoken about working on his finishing and his quality in these areas, adding goals to his game, because he was always such a talented midfielder, perhaps more at chance creation, hanging on to the ball, dribbling past players, but now he's adding goals to his game. He's using a lot of his experience as well to get himself into these little positions where he can then hopefully find the back of the net. So, having his best goal-scoring season, as you mentioned, 5 goals already so far, and they'll be hoping long may continue, because, again, this is a great example of defenders just focusing on perhaps on Kapitovic being their focal point, the target man, and Yassir taking advantage of that space that could appear in behind opposition defences.
This half-a-decade dominance of Albirex Niigata of the AIA Singapore Premier League, and let's not dress it up, that's exactly what it is, champions in 4 of the last 5 seasons, has actually created an ecosystem where, because of their club policy, and obviously for the fact they don't pay the players very well here, some of the players that prove themselves here, they go on to other clubs. We've mentioned Tomoyuki Doi, we've mentioned Toshino, going way back, of course, Yuki Ichikawa are getting international. But Tampines have one as well in Kyoga Nakamura, and he was the standout. Even though Boris got the hat-trick, he was the standout in that game on Wednesday.
This is a player that I really, really like watching. Wonderful technician, great technical quality in those midfield areas, and he helps Tampines with their possession-based game, with the progression of the ball through midfield. You can give it to him, even with the defender around him. He'll hang on to it for you, turn away from the defender, play a pass forward, and get your team moving into those advanced positions. I think what's great to see from him here, didn't score for them last season, but he's starting to get goals now. He's showing his technical quality. That strike from range was absolutely brilliant against the Young Lions, and then getting himself with a late run into the box to find the back of the net. So that's something that he's got to add to his game as he develops. Still a young player, let's remember, but incredible quality on the ball in those midfield positions.
One thing the Stags have got this season is goals all over. Madi Mahana's already scored this season. Yassir, Boris, Nakamura, Armin's capable. They have got goals through the team. Great to report the weather is fine here. No sign of the lightning warning system, so we're expecting to start on time at 5:30 in the afternoon local time. Stay with us. Kickoff is now just moments away. More big match build-up with Rosh and Ryan, myself, when we come back. Welcome back live to Jurong East Stadium, second against third on the way. Last season's top 2, Albirex Niigata up against Tampines Rovers. Now, one of the things that drives me mad is there's so much negativity around local football. I understand it to a point, but it's about time we started banging the drum for the positives. And I know you're on board with this, Roshan. And one of the positives, no question, it's gone under the radar, is Gavin Lee. 30 years young. He's taken over Tampines, won trophies, got them into the AFC Champions League, and his record against Albirex Niigata, because he and the coach of Albirex, Keiji Shigetomi, started at the same time, is nothing short of sensational. Pick the bones out of this, Roshan. 10 points from a possible 15. They only lost 2 games, Albirex, last season, and they were both to Tampines Rovers.
Yeah, he's got his number, doesn't he? I mean, when you look at Gavin and you look at the Tampines Rovers side, how difficult it is for Albirex to deal with them. I think it's because of the way they sort of set themselves up in possession, the way they move the ball, how quickly they move it. It's 1- and 2-touch football, which is very difficult to defend against. The most you can do is try and just apply as much pressure as you can, which is what Albirex Niigata will actually do. We'll try and play that pressing game. But Tampines have got these wonderful technicians, that technical quality that we touched on, the players that they have in midfield and in those positions where they can keep it, they can build out from the back, play through that press. And at times, as I said, again, with that option in Boris in there, go a little bit more direct, play it over the press. And it's these situations that Albirex have found a little bit difficult to deal with against the Tampines Rovers side over the last few meetings or so.
Now, if you're going to be hypercritical, of course, where Tampines essentially blew their title chances last season was on this ground, but not against Albirex. It was against Tanjung Pagar United when Jordan Webb saw red and they could only come away with a draw. This, for me, though, was the game that really demonstrated Gavin Lee's coaching clout. 1 down at half-time after Tomoyuki Doi given the Swans the lead. He brings on Madhu and Houang, and they blitz him in the second stanza.
Yeah, credit to him for making those changes, being brave and getting his players out there looking for that equalizer, looking for those goals to go on and win the match. And credit to his players for responding as well. You know, showing that character, went the goal down and responded in style. You see that pressing game here from Tampines Rovers as well, putting Albirex under pressure. And then once they get into these areas, so important, you take your chances. And with Kapitovic in there, taking that opportunity to find the back of the net, and then later on, of course, as Albirex are chasing the game, leaving themselves nice and open.
I can't remember seeing Albirex as rattled as we saw them that night in many a year. And just very quickly about managers, it'd be up there in the top 3 now of how managers are judged, how they use their substitutions. It's such an important part of the modern game, isn't it?
It certainly is. It's about squad management as well. It's why, you know, Gavin always speaks about, you know, in post-match interviews, he's always talking about, you know, it's recovery. We've got lots of games coming up. We're going to use players in the squad, but also in-game management. Not just with managing fitness levels, but with managing sort of tactical situations during a game. And you're absolutely right. It's part of, it's why, you know, it's where coaches earn their money. You know, you sit on the bench, you look at how the game's going. You've got maybe an analyst sitting somewhere else in the stands as well, having a look at the game. And then you come to conclusions about how you can change something or how you can change something to secure a result.
Right, it's here for the 2 coaches involved. A couple of moments ago, they were downstairs with our very own Farah Naya. We'll hear from Gavin Lee, the visiting coach, very shortly. But first, let's check in with Albirex head coach. Great to see Keiji Shigetomi now mastering English enough to give us a few words.
I have with me Keiji Shigetomi of Albirex Niigata. Keiji, a huge match tonight. You are up against a team that came in second to you last season, Tampines Rovers. How are you feeling ahead of this one?
It will be a tough match as Tampines has many experienced players. In addition, most players are same as last season.
Speaking of last season, you lost only twice and they came against your opponents today. How big of a challenge do you think today will be?
Of course, get the scores and the 3 points, but we just play our best as usual.
KG, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have with me now Gavin Lee from Tampines Rovers. Gavin, a huge match tonight. You come into this one on the back of a highly convincing performance against the Young Lions. And today your opponents have only lost twice last season and they came at the hands of you. How confident do you feel going into this one today?
Yeah, no, I think we are expecting a difficult game always against Albirex. So we are not taking anything for granted. I think we have prepared as well as we could have done, and I'm just excited for kickoff.
Not that your side would need any extra motivation after the midweek result, but how big of a challenge will today be, especially knowing that your opponents today have the best defensive record so far this season?
Yeah, it's still a long season ahead, so the record don't. Yeah, we might say something, but it's not a full indication of where the teams will be at the end of the season. So we're just fully focused on the present, on the now, and take one game at a time.
Again, this is the third game in the space of a week, not just for you, but for everyone else. So how will you be lining up tonight? The same as always, or can we expect a few tweaks today?
That's a surprise. You'll see in a bit.
Gavin, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Gavin Lee, understandably being a little bit coy about team selection, but that was recorded a couple of moments ago. We now do have the teams in Roshan, and there are a couple of changes for each. Albirex Niigata, who do have a rather settled squad. They rotate off the bench, but by and large, they're a very settled squad. They make just the one change to the team that drew 2-2. Kondo, a player who I know you like, is back to the bench, and Suboy comes in to replace.
Yeah, I think Kondo actually had a decent game the last time out. We saw him against the Land City Sailors, but the starman Suboy, the striker, the main striker, coming back into the side, and he'll add a bit more quality. He's more of a number 9 rather than Kondo was. I think more of an attacking midfielder. But you look at that side, Taniguchi, number 7, someone to keep an eye out on. Very good energy in between the lines. Chiku and Tezuka in central midfield as well. We look to try and run the game for them.
Yeah, and of course we mention him all the time, which is why we haven't mentioned him today. But if you are new to the AIA Singapore Premier League today, Hashioka is a real talent, up there with the very best players in the division. And for Singaporeans watching, keep an eye out for young Ong Yuen. He's been holding his own amongst some very top quality Japanese stars. And Nicky Melvin Singh probably won't get a chance on the bench today, but he's one to keep an eye out of in the Albirex Niigata squad. Let's check in with Tampines starting lineup. They make 2 changes now. Bayahaki is back from suspension for his red card against Houang, but he's not straight back in the team. Dan Bennett makes this his second start of the campaign, 43 years young. Mark Ryan Tan and Irwan Shah are in, and remember, Irwan was the player that made the difference in the second half here last season. An attacking lineup, interesting maybe to see Mehmedovic on the bench. Does that surprise you?
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise there with Mehmedovic on the bench, but still, you look at that team, I mean, with Yasser, Kyoka Nakamura and Shah Shahiran in those central midfield positions. Just wonderful technical quality in those areas to keep a hold of the ball, which is exactly what they're going to need. Yasser, as we touched on earlier, looking to just add a few more goals to his game, will be a bit of a threat for them. Kapitovic leading the line, and Dan Bennett, I mean, what a fantastic career he's had, Patrick, at 43 years of age. Still playing, setting a great example for some of the younger players around here in central defence alongside Madhu Mohana.
And Dan Bennett, a former teammate of yours, of course.
That's right. You know, I played with him for a couple of seasons. I played against him in my career as well. He was brilliant as a teammate. You know, plenty of advice that he could give to you. He's always available for a chat with his experience and all that. A couple of years at Singapore Armed Forces FC with Dan Bennett. It's incredible that he's still playing. I mean, it puts me to shame. I'm standing here right beside you. He's still out there playing top-level football in the Singapore Premier League.
Right, listen, apologies if you're not hearing us now, because obviously fans are back into the stadium, which that's great. Can't wait to welcome you back into the stadiums. From the 24th, no requirements. For the next 2 weeks, you can come if you meet the criteria laid out on the FAS and SPL's social media channels. But one thing about the fans coming back is that the public tannoy systems are back. And I think just trying to get into the swing of things, because this guy thinks announcing a plane about to take off at Changi Airport, which is 20 miles away, is that loud. Join us after the break. Kick-off on the horizon. It's the Sunday Sizzler, Sunset Football from the AIA Singapore Premier League. Albirex Niigata against Tampines is live next. Welcome back live to Jurong East Stadium, where we are almost ready for kickoff. I can see Albirex Niigata and Tampines both below me. They'll enter the arena separately, of course, to fulfill their COVID-19 obligations. Safety of the paramount importance to everyone now. We're welcoming fans back as we get a look at the match ball, the select match ball, which has been getting great reviews. Roshan Rai alongside me. Roshan, let me put you on the spot now and ask you for your prediction here.
Well, I think we're going to get goals in this game between these two sides. Plenty of attacking quality on display. Tampines have got a great recent record against Albirex Niigata, so I'm going to lean towards a Tampines win. I think Albirex perhaps having their first defeat of the season inflicted upon them.
Well, that's certainly an interesting way of looking at it, because I think even though Albirex have maintained their position, obviously usurped yesterday with Houang winning, I think the general consensus is that they are still a very good team, although maybe not as good as some of the title-winning teams that have come over the last 5 years, as our officiating team, led by referee Juhaman Zaiton, assisted by Lim Kok Heng, Shadiq Al Hussein, and fourth official Chan Kwok Wai. Wait for the clock to tick round to 5:26 local time before they enter the arena. Congratulations, incidentally, for the AIA-sponsored Players and Managers of the Month. The Coach of the Month award goes to Clement Teo. I think he'll be the first one to share that with Ferdaus. The young player who was awarded yesterday at Jalan Besar went to Kairin Nadim, and Tomoyuki Doi, who got that award even before he got another goal yesterday. 10 goals in 6 games. I mean, that's got to be the signing of the season so far.
But outstanding performance by Tomoyuki Doi, going into a new club and performing the way he's been for Houang. I mean, there's just confidence that's just be flowing through his veins at the moment. 10 goals already for Doi, leading the way in terms of that top scoring chart and pushing Houang all the way to the top of the table. What a difference a striker like that can make into the team performances. You just need to feed him, he finds the back of the net.
Question is Kiyoshiro Tsuboi going to be as good as Tomoyuki Doi, and is he only just getting started here in Singapore? Because if he is, Albirex Niigata could very well retain the title they won last season in what was ultimately quite a close title race. Tampines just missing out, and they'll be kicking themselves about that draw here where Jordan Webb's ridiculous red card ultimately, you feel, cost them the 3 points that would have kept them right in the title hunt. But it's a strong Tampines lineup. We'll go through the starting 11s for you in a minute. And are you saying, I know you're a fan of Kondo, but with Tsuboi back in the starting lineup, do you have Albirex a little bit stronger than they were on Wednesday against the Sailors tonight?
Yeah, I think, Tsuboi is going to be that focal point for them. He's more of a number 9, whereas I felt Kondo was given a license to just roam a little bit, drift in between the lines, and that's what Tsuboi will bring. It's just a different profile of player that you're picking here, and he'll add a goal threat as well to this Albirex forward line. I've
been here the last 2 times Albirex Niigata have been in action. It was a great game, entertaining game, but they weren't really ever looking like beating Balestier or getting in behind the Balestier are going to be unlucky not to steal that. And then they only just squeaked past Geylang by a goal to 0.
Yeah, I remember being here with you for that game against Balestier. Balestier, to their credit, I mean, 4-4-2, they just set back so deep that it allowed actually Koga, Alberex's goalkeeper, to push all the way towards almost the halfway line and be a part of Alberex's build-up game. They just struggled to penetrate that Balestier back line. But again, look at this Albirex team, very organized as a unit, good fitness levels. They will play at a good intensity and good tempo. But with the quality that Tampines have, they will create chances. They do allow opportunities against them, this Albirex Niigata side.
Referee Juhaman Zaiton conducting the toss between the two club skippers, obviously. Hashioka, who's been an absolute sensation, and Yasir Hanapi, who survived a little bit of controversy prior to last season to come back really as one of the stars of Tampines show. If you forget about that Houang result, they've had a stunning start to the season. As to Albirex, they're the only unbeaten team in the division. Tsuboi for Kondo, the only change, and Kondo will certainly be a second half threat against maybe some tiring Tampines legs in the second stanza.
Yeah, we'll see how it sort of goes for Albirex in the second half. If they need a player of his qualities to come in, then he's definitely an option for Shigatomi on the bench there. But what we've usually seen from them in terms of the changes is Mahiro Takahashi and Yasuhiro Hanada tend to come on in the second half for this Albirex Niigata side.
Interesting to see Kazukai Yoshinaga, the former title-winning coach of Albirex, rejoining the club as technical director to work alongside Chiji again, so that will be interesting. The Stags, they make 2 changes from the midweek 7-0 win. Mark Ryan Tan is in, Erwan Shah, and will be sad to see, but obviously he has to fulfill his national obligations. Shasha Hiran's last game before he heads off on national service. He's got the haircut to prove that. But Gavin Lee's picked a strong starting 11 here.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's already shaved it all off, Shahiran. But Gavin Lee, I mean, with the options that he has at his disposal, still, again, as I mentioned earlier, in our build-up to this, good technical quality in that central midfield, in those midfield positions. Kapitovic can hold it up for you. And then you've got pace and very direct wingers in Armin Bosniak and Mark Tan out on either side there. So they will look to try and cause a few issues for Albirex Niigata in those quick transitional moments.
So we bring the curtain down on what's been a thrilling match day 6 so far, both here at our Tampines Sub, where Geylang take on the Sailors. We'll keep you up to date with the goals as they go in there. But here we focus on the battle to see who'll be top of the table tonight. If Albirex win, it will be them. If Tampines can win by 2 or more, they will go top tonight. So that's just how tight it is at the top of the shop. Of course, the Sailors pick up maximum points at Geylang, and then you're almost this early on maybe looking at a league in 2 with the 8 teams. But we shall see. So much can happen between now and around about 7:45 local time. It's Albirex in the orange, playing from right to left. Tampines in the white chain strip, playing from left to right. And straight away, trying to release down that right-hand side, Faris Hassan. The ball goes out of play for a throw into the Stags. You're welcome live on Singtel Star Hub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page, One Play Sports and partners around the world, to the Jurong East Stadium. Roshan Roy alongside myself, caught in the action on a sultry Sunday afternoon. It's Sunday sunset football here. By the time we go off air at 7:30, we'll be playing under lights. Now we can enjoy a balmy Sunday afternoon, Roshan.
Well, you look at already early on Kyoga Nakamura and his qualities there. Under pressure from Chiku, takes it down, turns him, and he's able to push Tampines forward. And that's why I really love watching that number 8 in Tampines' central midfield.
And just to explain, you'll be able to hear some crowd noise both inside and outside the stadium today. The fans that unfortunately haven't fulfilled the criteria to come back into the stadiums yet, i.e. having the vaccine or a negative recent test. There's a chance for Albirex Niigata very early on. That was an important interception by Madi Mahana, Roshan Wright.
Yeah, I read that one well. Had to come across quickly. Cut out an opportunity early on for Albirex. Shah under a little bit of pressure here.
Yeah,
there's Mamadou.
They're making it difficult for themselves, and they've been a little bit fortunate there that the ball's gone behind off Suboy for a goal kick. Yeah, going back to that, if you missed the news in the week and you're in Singapore, from the 24th of this month, a maximum of 250 fans are outside in the stadiums per game as a pathway to getting the capacity slightly larger, regardless of whether you've had the vaccination or a negative test or not. But for the next 2 weeks, on a trial basis, 250 fans allowed in, but you have to have had both doses of the vaccination or a recent negative test. For full details, go to the FAS and AIA Singapore Premier League social media channels. But as Roshan and myself were speaking about on Wednesday, great to see fans come back in, Roshan, because, again, there'll be the negative people out there, the cynics, but this is a good league season as we've seen for quite some time, and we could be welcoming decent-sized crowds back soon.
Yeah, and it's, again, we've touched on this and how positive it is. It's a great reward for all the hard work that's gone on over the last year or so, and you know, from the authorities, from the FAS, from people at the SPL, from Singaporeans themselves, and it's just looking forward really to welcoming fans back into the grounds here to witness some really good quality. I mean, the quality that we've seen from the matches so far, I've been impressed by, and it just gets better. It's nothing like coming down to the venues and watching live football.
There's a rare rescue from Tezuka, which has given Tampines a foothold as both teams feed each other out early. They're underway at OTH. Geylang nil, Lion City Sailors nil, and that one here is Nakamura. Loose touch from him, gives Ong Yuen, the Singaporean, one of 2 Singaporeans, as mandated in the SPL articles. The Albirex Niigata squad obliged to play 2 Singaporeans for at least the first 45 minutes. Firas and Ong Yuen are those 2 today, and of course there's an under-23 rule that dictates Tampines must start with a set number of under-23 local players as well. First touch for Takahiro Koga, the man that Tampines are going to try and get past today. He passes it to Kunimoto, and they go down that left with a promising ball looking for Ong Yuen, but Madi Mahana's onto it, and Madi Mahana, well, he should get there first, but doesn't. I think he was worried about the penalty situation. So Ong Yuen holds it up well, waits for support, which arrives courtesy of Takiwa. What a ball that turned out to be from Kunimoto, right over the top, but it's back with the Albirex number 25 now.
Well, they just had to recycle possession a little bit, but what they did initially for pinging that long ball forward, here's Tokiwa once again, giving Irfan Najib something to think about, was it just drew that press from Tampines, and then they pinged that long ball in for Ong Yuen to give chase.
Yeah, Houang showed some pace, and I think Madu could have got there, but was just a little bit concerned about sticking a leg out when the ball was moving inside the penalty area. He might have been well served to take that attitude. Kunimoto out on that right-hand side. Now this is where you'll start seeing the runs of Hashioka. He literally should have a bedroom, a front room and a television over on that right-hand flank for Albirex Niigata, because he lives there through games. He's so efficient. Now, Chiku. Oh, twisting and turning, Taniguchi. Oh, feints for the shot. I think he fooled himself there, Roshan.
Just seemed to perhaps lose his balance a little bit in that situation. Allowed Bennett to get a foot in. A good game so far. Nice intensity opening 5 minutes or so of this one. Yeah. Moving the ball very quickly, Tampines, and Albirex doing the same.
Yeah, Albirex probably just shading it, but neither team really been able to put either goalkeeper under a bit of a question mark yet. How, with that play in the, I mean, obviously, to the most part, a whole new squad set of players for Albirex. I'll ask watching this in a minute as Yasir Hanapi tries to play it to Boris Kapitovic. Armin's out there to try and pick up the piece, but nothing doing. That's a loose pass, though, picked up by Nakamura, the former White Swan. Nakamura, well, Koga will pick that up. Psychologically, you know, Shigatomi will certainly know, and some of the players will, but some of these boys and you, it doesn't have any bearing on the Albirex squad knowing that Tampines have got such a good recent record against them?
Yeah, you know, I think it's always going to have an impact on you, especially when you're up against a side that, when you look at recent history, you think, oh, you know, they've got the better of us over the last few occasions or so. But with Albirex, the thing about them is, it's almost every season they've got new players coming in, so perhaps there isn't that much of an impact on the new boys coming in. It's a chance for them to actually, you know, write a new story for themselves coming into these games.
One thing's for sure, I'm not sure whether Koji Shigetomi would answer this question outright, but I think he's aware, as we all are, that this is a more competitive division. Just look at what Tomoyuki Doi's made into Houang. Not that it's a one-man team, of course. Takiwa. Yes, must also mention that Tomoyuki Doi is the only signing Houang have made, and that's going to cross the face, and it was a fresh air shot from Firas Hassan. That should be 1-0, Roshan.
Yeah, big chance for Firos. Just takes his eye off the ball. Shot there from Firos. Again, it's really well worked by Albirex, and down this right-hand side, here they come again.
Yeah, Hashioka, that familiar face down the right-hand side. You have to say, if that's Suboy, it's probably 1-0. Firos will try and make amends for that now as he waits in the area. They've had to go back to Tezuka. Tezuka and Hashioka make a wonderful partnership down that right-hand side. And that's handball that's going to give Albirex a set-piece opportunity. Now, they've got plenty of height in defence with the likes of Madu and Dan Bennett. Boris can help out defending set pieces as well as we get another look at Firos.
He needs to connect with that. What he's done really well to do is get in front of his defender. He gets in front of Irwan Shah. He just completely takes his eye off the ball. He needs to score that goal.
He's going to be
Firos,
taking it.
He needs to connect.
He's going to be taking it with his right foot, hasn't he? He's almost like had a swing at it with the foot nearest to him. He's got to just side foot that home.
I think he's just lost a little bit of focus. But again, that build-up from Albirex was very encouraging, because what they did, played it out down the right-hand side for a little bit, drew Tampines once again, and then there was a switch of play from Chiku out onto Tokiwa's left foot.
Chiku is the one over this free kick. There's lots of dancing going on at the edge of the area. Headed away firmly by Shah Shahiran in his last appearance before joining national service. He had a controversial red card, of course, yesterday, didn't we, at Topayo, with Ensar Bruncevic, Big Bruno being red carded for an alleged incident in the penalty area. I'm sure that'll be a talking point amongst the football community over the course of the next week. That's a free kick for here, Roshan, just barging into him.
Yeah, just Tokiwa going to the back of Irwan Shah, who's trying to get Tampines on their way, moving forward quickly, stopping that counter-attack. Tokiwa with that barge into the back.
Keep seeing Shah Shahiran with that haircut now. It just makes me think of that film Full Metal Jacket every time I look at it now. He's going into national service prepared. He's not going to give the company barber the satisfaction of shaving off his beautiful locks. Nakamura. Did you have your head shaved off, Roshan?
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course. I mean, to be fair to Shah, he's looking pretty good.
He's looking sharp. Got a bandage on his knee. It's obviously going to be a blow to Tampines, losing him. I know they've got Mark Ryan Tanner. They brought in a great young Tanner, but a different kind of player. I can tell you the Lion City Sailors already lead Geylang International. Confirmation of the goal scorer. Gabriel Quack, I'm being told. Another goal for Gabriel Quack. I mean, they're having some start to the season, the attacking players anyway, of the Lion City Sailors. Gabriel Quack with his 5th of the campaign. Meanwhile, here's Big Bad Boris, who's already got 5. Shah Shahiran Spreads it out wide to Armin. This is the best passenger play from Tampines to this point. Boris is there, and the Stags lead! Well, a beautiful piece of build-up play involving Shah Shahir and Arman, and then Boris, who gets his 6th of the season, and they've capitalised at one end where Firas Hassan couldn't for Albirex at the other.
I told you it's a weakness of Albirex. I told you in the build-up to this. Crosses coming into the box. You can look at how loose the marking is in that situation. Boris has got so much time and space to get his toe on the ball here. It's a beautiful cross delivered into the 6-yard box by Armin Bosniak. But it all started thanks to Mark Tan carrying the ball forward for them, dragging it into the penalty box, and then they recycled it, went out wide. It's a good finish in the end.
Rio Kudimoto may have been guilty of ball watching there as well. Boris just got in front of him, and it was a simple enough finish at the end. But again, fine margins in football. At one end, Firas Hassan should have scored. At the other end, Boris Kapinovic did score. And the Stags have got their tails up now. Yasir Hanapi out to this right-hand side they go. So both away teams leading by a goal to nil at the moment. Can he keep this in? Not quite, and it's behind for a goal kick.
It's a nice idea there from Yasir Hanapi, and that ball over the top by Kyoga Nakamura. So late runs from midfield. It'll be difficult to track for that defense, especially when they're holding their line. And you've got a runner from deep.
You mentioned Mark Ryan Tan, of course, he's a new signing for the Stags this season. Never been at the Young Lions last year, and it's interesting, some of these players, obviously Joel Chew's made the reverse journey to go to the Young Lions. Mark Ryan Tan will benefit, won't he? He's playing with some talented boys at the Young Lions, but he's playing with some experienced players here, and it's bound to improve him over the course of the season. Yeah,
it is going to benefit him in the longer term. Getting game time as well for Tampines, playing against some of these experienced players, as you mentioned. Playing for a side that, you know, the expectation is you're going to have to be challenging for titles, so you're always going to have to be performing at a really good level.
Well, this goal's really calmed Tampines down, and now there's a swagger about them. They come down this right-hand side with the aforementioned Mark Ryan Tan. Boris waits in the area again. Nakamura arriving in support, which he might need. Will he try and win the corner here? No, he gets it to Nakamura. Very impressive work from Mark Ryan Tan, because he was under siege there. Another cross comes in. Yasir Hanapi trying to turn. Yasir being jockeyed and kept quiet. Ultimately doing enough was Kunimoto to prevent them getting another chance. But what a difference that goal's made to the tempo and the turn of this game. Yeah,
again, it's, you know, we're seeing just a replay of this ball that's put back into the 6-yard box. Dan Bennett's gone down with a bloody nose.
Yeah, Dan Bennett now, I wonder if there's a replay here, because Madhu Mahan is asking for the referee to maybe take notice of something. Now, Dan Bennett is a big chap and not the kind of guy to go down, and you can see Shah Shahiran is indicating elbow. Let's see if we can find a replay of anything. Our top production team are looking now. We saw a controversial red card yesterday for an alleged headbutt or elbow, whatever it may be, that has caused some controversy here. Dan Bennett down in the centre circle, blood from his nose.
I think what happened was just early on in the move. I think there was a long ball played forward into Albirex attackers, and I think there was perhaps a mid-air collision with one of Albirex attackers in that situation, and then that's where it's coming from here. Let's hope they can stop the bleeding, and he's going to be able to continue. Stuff a bit of cotton wool up his nostrils, I think.
Of course, I suppose in a strange way, it's unfortunate for Tampines, because they really had...
It was here, just right here.
I don't think it was intentional.
No, it wasn't. Just two players going for it, but that's where it's happened to Dan Bennett.
And that goes to show how tough Dan Bennett is. He didn't even flinch. It's only because the blood's come out, he wants to get it seen. It was just the right arm going across him. But again, at the time, Dan Bennett didn't blink. Tough guy. And not the day that they should have worn white shirts, really, when you got blood pouring out the nose.
Nice kit, to be fair.
It's a nice kit. Yeah, Tampines do a good job with that. They've abandoned the yellow for black and white.
Oh, can I? Yeah, I used to really not like Tampanese's kits.
Why?
Back when it was the yellow and the yellow and black. Just doesn't quite work for me. I think they've done really well with this white effort, and then they've got those black jerseys as well. So they've got a brilliant effort this season by Tampines Rovers.
They're off to the AFC Champions League, aren't they? So they'll have to look sharp there. Over the top. Oh, Suboy could get to this. Suboy, one touch. Was it handball? Off the crossbar, Suboy, but the referee's whistle of God, I think it was handball. But I'll tell you something. He showed good technique, even though the handball came into play, to manage to get that down and then over the keeper.
Well, he's lively just to run in behind. It is a handball. So as you can see, Shah with his arm out. Instant appeal there. Looking for the referee to blow the whistle. Those runs in behind, just on that higher line they were looking to employ. There's no pressure on the ball, so there was space to exploit in behind that Tampines defence.
If you're just joining us, the Stags leading by a Boris Kapinovic goal to nil after 9 minutes after good work by Shah Shahir, and Mark Ryan Tan involved as well, and then a wonderful cross from Armin over on that left-hand side. And that's the difference between the two teams. OTH Gabriel Quack has given the Lion City Sailors a similarly early lead away at Geylang, who are desperately in need of points. And incidentally, next weekend, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, 3 days of action. A game on Friday night. Looking forward to that one, Roshan. That'll be our feature, our first Friday night match of the season. Tampines against Geylang. The East Coast derby's always lively. Saturday, Houang Young Lions, Tanjung Pagar in action as well against Albirex in the Jurong East derby. And then the Sailors Balestier is the lone game on Sunday. So another great raft slate of fixtures. Here's Takiwa.
Yeah, it should be tasty, that East Coast derby. I remember Geylang. Well, I'll come back to that.
Oh, Suboy very nearly got goal side of Madu there. He's got great anticipation, Suboy, hasn't he? He judges these balls in flight so well.
Just that, again, we touched on him in our build-up to this match. Just his running across that defensive line. Good timing of his movements, finding those spaces where he can just receive those longer passes out from the back.
You're just going back to the East Coast derby. That was a real live
game
last season.
I remember Firdaus Kasman and Mehmedovic having a go at each other after the final whistle.
Well, that draw essentially qualified Geylang for the AFC Cup. And it was a very intense affair. I think there's some receipts that are about to be repaid in that game on Friday, so don't miss that. Roshan will be alongside me live from OTH Friday night. Our coverage will start at 8 p.m, I believe. That's an 8:30 kickoff next Friday. Yes, 8:30. My wonderful sound technician Jagan just confirming what I believe there. 8:30 with an 8 p.m. broadcast start. So, well, this game's set up nicely now because Albirex Niigata, just going through my memory back, that's the first time they've gone behind in a game this season, isn't it? I think it is. Obviously, they were 2-0 up before being pegged back against the Young Lions. And the goalless draw against Balestier is the only game they haven't won this season. So, we'll see what they're made of now. They'll get an opportunity from a set piece with Chiku, who is able probably to swing this in. So Shazwan's got to be careful here. He got caught out by a similar free kick, unless I'm not much mistaken, against Houang last season from this kind of range at OTH. So Chiku to deliver. And Chiku does try and be cheeky. And Shazwan goes down under the challenger Suboy, whose hand immediately goes up.
Well, look, Suboy's got to go for that ball. It's a delightful delivery that swung in. Such a dangerous ball as well, whipped into the 6-yard box. Shazwan, how often do we see goalkeepers struggle to deal with the balls that come in there? He's done incredibly well to use his feet. And that's really good goalkeeping. Whipped in with plenty of pace. Just bounced just in front of Shazwan. It's a late challenge by Suboy. But you can see what he's trying to do there. Wonderful focus from Shazwan, just to watch the ball all the way through and get it away from the danger zone.
I mean, because some people have watched that and think, well, Chiku's missed-hit that, but that's the idea. When you just skid the ball in on the surface, you're just looking for a touch or indeed to fool everybody.
Well, we've seen free kicks from positions like that just find their way into the back of the net because the goalkeeper thinks a defender or a player is going to react to it and get a touch on it. This seems to tend to let it go. On this occasion, Shazwan kept his focus really well. Hopefully it's just a bit of a knock, nothing too serious for him, because he's been pretty consistent for them in goal. Shazwan Buhari, Suboy immediately with the apology and the yellow card.
Another reason why they'll be hoping he's okay, they've actually got their third choice goalkeeper on the bench in an interesting move. The second choice is in the stands, Daniel Ia. The second choice goalkeeper is the goalkeeping substitute for Tampines today. Just wait and see if he's okay. Well, it seems to be that he's going to be okay, but I don't think he's putting it on. He definitely had contacts received, didn't he?
And he gets up Shazwan to a round of applause from the stands. Good to see got a few fans in the stadium, in the venue.
Yeah, some outside as well. I mean, it's great. Some of the stadiums, you can see I can see over on the far side of the stadium the Swan Army. People are big in deck chairs and observing social distancing, of course, but really enjoying the
That's
unique experience.
Brilliant idea, isn't it? I mean, just to bring your deck chair, sit around the track outside here and have a look at some free football.
Here's Armin, whose cross led to the goal for Boris. That one doesn't quite reach his countryman.
I might have been tempted to bring a couple of drinks along as well.
Yes, it's
Enjoy the game on those deck chairs.
a gorgeous evening now. It's got a little bit cooler, which we're grateful about, so it's...
Well, Bennett's played Madhu into trouble there, and Irfan, to his credit, has done incredibly well just to get away from that pressure.
Done well to bail him out. I should also correct myself. As they come down the left-hand side. Yeah, they're both Montenegrin. I just wanted to not make that faux pas that Armin and Boris were from the same country. But here is Boris in the area, headed on. Yasser Hanapi. He's definitely getting in more forward positions than he's done over recent seasons this year. I mean, it obviously explains itself with the number of goals he scored, but he's just playing almost as a second striker behind Boris a lot of the time.
Yeah, we see him taking up some intelligent positions, just in behind the opposition midfield. Again, with those runs of Boris, as I mentioned, into the box.
The speculative error, sorry, Roshano, and Yasser Hanapi, the foot was up high there. Ong Yuen helps Albirex get it away. Now down the left is Suboy, there's two runners ahead of him. Ong Yuen is one of them, Suboy, Madhu Mahana across really well.
That's a good strong challenge by Madhu. Stands his ground, Suboy just trying to cut inside onto his right foot. Madhu timing that challenge really well. It's good pressure though.
Taniguchi. Shiku. Thought about putting the trigger. Here's Hashioka. Haven't seen as much of him through the first 20 minutes that we usually do in these kind of games. Ong Yuen, that's a lovely ball through. He's fed it through to Takiwa. Takiwa's cross, and we're all square at one each. Taniguchi with the simplest of finishes from just outside the 6-yard box, but take about Ong Yuen and Yo Takiwa. Gorgeous goal, 1-1.
Yeah, so patient here in the build-up, Albirex as well. Ong Yuen, who's had a fantastic start to this game for Albirex. Have a look at his composure, just draws Tampanese's midfielders and defenders towards him, frees up that space for Takiwa to deliver into the box, and on this occasion, they get in behind. There's no mistake with the finish, as there was with Fairouz Hassan a little bit earlier on. Taniguchi arriving on time, guiding it into the back of the net, back on level terms.
Taniguchi with his second goal of the season. He was on the score sheet against the Young Lions in the 3-0 win, and one of the players we remember from last season is getting the White Swans, the defending champions, back on level terms. And I would venture to suggest that that's not the last of the scoring, the way this game is going. Two teams that like to play attacking football. There's already been another goal at OTH. The Lion City Sailors have doubled the lead. I'd fear for Geylang, with the Sailors being 2 up inside 20 minutes there. As it goes back to Shazwan. Diego Lopez with his first goal in Singapore football at OTH. Diego Lopez has doubled the lead for the Lion City Sailors. Here's Ong Yuen. Great to see the young Singaporean as a key part of the build-up play to that goal.
Okay, the guy's 17 years of age and he's playing with plenty of composure and confidence. Again, he does really well there just to win that free kick. He was under pressure from Yasser. And he does what you normally see Yasser do, which is stick a leg out, invite that contact from the defender and go down and win a free kick for yourself.
And worth pointing out, as we spoke about Wednesday, he was kept on the pitch in the second half, wasn't he? He didn't get immediately hooked, as they tend to do sometimes. They took off Fairouz Hassan at half-time, but left Ong Yuen on. Takiwa. Suboy! I think he saw Shazwan slightly off his line there and would pull the trigger. Shah Shahiran, great strength from Shah. Nakamura, runners ahead. Armin to Shah Shahiran. This is great build-up play from the Stags. Shah Shahiran just about manages to hold on to it, but then coughs up possession, and Taniguchi brings it away for Albirex Niigata. Madhu, Dan Bennett with a bit of cotton wool stuck out of his nose, still managing to clear the ball. Shah with the NS ready haircut. Inside to Mark Ryan Tan. Over the top, Nakamura. Boris could get to this. Keeper comes and somehow gets it. I'm not entirely sure what Irwan Shah was doing there.
Well, I wonder if he's just backed out of that challenge a little bit. He saw Koga approaching and thought, you know, I'm not having any of that. But again, wonderful work by Tampines in midfield. That's such a great ball from Nakamura. Played in behind. There's not much space to work with here. And it just holds up off the turf, puts a little bit of backspin on that. Erwan Shah just I think takes his eye off the ball, sees Koga coming, thinks he's going to get clattered. Takes his eye off the ball and allows Koga to claim it in the end.
Continue, the Lion City Sailors now lead 3-0 at OTH against Geylang. Ouchie. Dan Bennett, keeper, seems to claim the Shazman and does. Yes, Geylang International with a bit of bother early. With their new signings struggling to gel in this early part of the season, and 3-0 down against the Lion City Sailors. The points are in the bag already for the Sailors there. Not making the same mistake they did on Wednesday night when they coughed up a 2-goal advantage to Albirex at Jalan Besar. Over the top, there's Boris up against Hashioka. Hashioka's work rate's astonishing when you see him. You look out there, sometimes you think he's a fullback, other times he's a centre-back, then you think he's a right winger, then he'll cut inside and be sort of in the number 10 role. It's astonishing how much ground he covers. Here's Nakamura.
Very much that modern-day fullback, isn't he? Hashioka down that right-hand side, using the width, at times allowed to just underlap on the inside. We just have a look at Tampines in their build-up with their back three. Irfan, not exactly the kind of right back that gets forward into those advanced positions.
To Yasir. Yasir's out-muscled by the youngster Ong Yuen, who's having some first half here. He's looking for the runner ahead of him in Taniguchi. No runner coming, so he's managed to maintain possession. They've got it to Chiku. Look at Takiwa again. It was Takiwa's cross that led to the first goal. Takiwa gets another cross in. Is this going to lead to their second? Taniguchi flags up for offside. And that looked close. As we take the half-time drinks break, and lots to absorb and look back on, Roshan Wright.
Yeah, I think Tampines will be delighted with this water break here. Defensively looking a little bit ragged. Good ball played in behind. Unfortunately, just offside in that situation.
I don't think it was Taniguchi that was in the offside position, but the player...
It was Sirboy, I think it was, who has headed it back into Taniguchi. It was a clever touch past Madhu. Such a good game of football we've had so far between these two sides. Again, the pace of the ball, it's moving very quickly. Good technical quality. Both defenses being troubled by the respective attacks.
The story of the game, 9 minutes in. Armin after good work by Ryan Tan and Shah into the 6-yard box, and Big Bad Boris doesn't miss those. 1-0 Stags, and Stags then after that really looked like they may even go on and get a second, but Dan Bennett went down with an injury, then Shazwan went down with an injury, and when they restarted eventually, Albirex have looked arguably the sharper. Takiwa latching on to good work from Ong Yuen, and wonderful finish from Taniguchi.
There's a late run into the box by Taniguchi. That gives him that opportunity to find the finish. But again, it's wonderful work by a young man, Ong Yuen. Good composure on the ball, hanging on to it, drawing defenders towards him. And then that awareness to play a clever pass in behind for Takiwa to deliver a cross into the box.
I can tell you Saifullah has got the third goal for the Sailors, so 3 goals, 3 different goal scorers, and it's going to be a long day at the office for Noor Ali. The Eagles, of course, will be the opponents for Tampines on Friday night. Quite a quick turnaround in those games. It's some busy spell. Tampines and Geylang would have played Wednesday, Sunday, and the following Friday. 3 games in, what, my maths isn't very good, 12 days? Takes some getting, particularly in these conditions. Very humid here today. Thankfully, this rainy season, or impromptu rainy season, we've been having to endure during the start of the season's faded away, so no more LWS, lightning warning system. Here's Armin, trying some tricks to get past Firas Hassan. Gets it back to Nakamura. Oh, Nakamura, lovely feint and turn to find some space. Trying to thread it through to Yasir, belted away by Yamashita, who has officially been credited with both those goals. So my plea to make Roshan Rai chairman of the dubious goals panel obviously fell on deaf ears. Couldn't be his goal, could it? I've watched it about half a dozen times since Wednesday night.
I think we called it at the time. I think it should have been credited as an own goal. But anyway, let's move on.
There's Takiwa. Kunimoto.
Now Koga doing that thing again where he's coming in as the deep-lying midfielder, distributing out to Firos on this occasion.
That sweeper keeper, and just like that, they've managed to get Firos in here. And he's got the ball at feet. Armin tracking back and putting in good shifts as a covering defender, and all of a sudden he's back to being a left winger. He's got Boris to aim at. Boris has got in front of Kunimoto. Can Boris get the shot away? Boris needs support, does he? Boris gets it back to Armin. Can Armin finish now? He tried to get it on his favoured foot and it delayed the shot by a split second. Danger's not gone yet. Yashir back to Shai. Nakamura fancies pulling the trigger. Nakamura! Koga plucks it out of the air. Well, if Armin was confident on one foot as he was on the other, it may well be 2-1 Roshan Wright.
Yeah, I think he could have perhaps taken the shot a little bit earlier. Great ball played into Kopitovic. Just can't quite get it to stick really for him. And he can open up the opportunity to have a crack at goal himself. I should have taken it on his left foot quicker than that situation. Gets closed down. And it comes out to Nakamura, who will have his confidence boosted by that long-range strike against the Young Lions. Has a crack at goal.
Oof, Boris has gone down. There was a high foot there by Tezuka. Don't think the referee's seen anything untoward. Doesn't look like we're going to be seeing any yellow cards.
A lovely pass. Again, that defense splitting pass from Nakamura, line-breaking pass, I should say, into Boris. Just takes it away from Tezuka, invites a challenge. It's a free kick in a decent position for Tampines Rovers here.
Well, Nakamura not been in a goal-scoring phenomenon for Tampines, but he did get a couple in midweek. It's Koga, the league's best keeper, but Nakamura doesn't care. Just wide. Just to confirm that Suboi was booked in that incident with Shazwan. Bit too far out to take a poke against Koga, or worth a go?
Yeah, I think what he sees here is he's seen Koga moving towards the near post there and thinks he can catch the goalkeeper off guard.
And not just that, the wall wasn't really set either, was it?
We were still setting the wall. Referee decided to blow the whistle, take a quick free kick, and fortunately for Albirex and Koga.
More holes in it than a block of Swiss cheese, that Albirex Niigata wall. Just going back, I just saw Mehmedovic warming up downstairs. That's something that we spoke to Marko Kravic about when he brought Balastier here. I think the team's come here wanting to keep one of their frontline players as a second half substitute, just to counter that half-time substitution that you always know is going to come from Albirex, where they introduce that fresh set of legs most frequently in midfield. So I wonder whether that's the thinking behind Mehmedovic not being in the starting lineup. Headed away by Chiku. Oh, it's a fresh air shot from Ong Yuen. Work to do for Mark Ryan Tan, and he decides to go back to Shazwan. Is 1-1 on the balance of it just about the fair score at the moment, Roshan?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I think Tampines starting off the game really well, moving it quickly, and then getting that goal. Albirex responding well, picking up that equalizer for themselves. I think it's a nice even contest between these two. We've seen some good quality on the ball. They both move it very well up the channels, through the lines here. As we're seeing, Nakamura has been dictating play for Tampines from midfield positions. It's a loose pass by Dan Bennett, though.
Yeah, he's had possession for about 30 seconds there. And it's come to Suboi, whose shot is initially blocked. Ong Yuen. Taniguchi! Well, they gave Taniguchi a lot of space for a man that just punished them 5 minutes ago, Roshan Wright.
Yeah, again, he just picks up that ball in front of that Tampines defense in that space, in behind Shah and Kyoga Nakamura. Why not have a crack at goal? If you're slow to close him down, it's a good area right down the middle. It's can't quite trouble Shazwan on that occasion. He's getting to good pockets of space, Patrick Taniguchi.
Pace has just dropped off a little bit by both players, both sets of players. Just for a split second, they've been a little bit lax in picking up, and some of the passing starting to go astray, as Nakamura's just illustrated there. I think Tampines particularly just need to up their levels for these closing 30 minutes. Having led in the half, the last thing they want to do is go into half-time trailing, even though they did come from behind at half-time to win here back in November.
I think a couple of perhaps reasons for that. With that water break, just breaking up the tempo of the game overall. And the other thing being the weather, which has been pretty brutal. The heat here, and this intensity of the game taking a bit of a toll on some of these players, perhaps.
Yamashita went through the back of Boris Kopitovic fairly, it must be said. No foul. Boris just dusting himself down. Here's Taniguchi. Here's the Hashioka show over on the right-hand side. Fairoz gets it to Chiku. Now, Tezuka himself amongst the goals this season. Already got a brace. Ong Yuen hasn't scored yet this campaign. Ong Yuen darting through. Now Boris has got Armin in acres of space on the left-hand side, and Boris is herring into the area to try and give him support. Yasser Hanapi hangs back, Nakamura arriving. Armin, edge of the area, Armin with a cross, gets past Boris and doesn't reach Yasser Hanapi, and Albirex survive, but not for the first time this afternoon into this evening, Roshan. Tampines getting loads of space down that left flank.
Yeah, quick counter-attack by Tampines Rovers. The ball was always going to go out to that left-hand side with Armin Bosniak looking to try accelerate into that space that was left behind by Hashioka as he pushes forward. That's an area for Tampines that they're going to look to try and exploit on the counters. Hashioka is always going to push forward for Albirex. That just leaves them with a little bit of an opening down the left-hand side, Tampines to exploit.
Shah using his own player for a shield there. Yasser Hanapi gets it back to Dan Bennett. Still with that cotton wool, rather unfashionably sticking out of his left nostril. Madhu, oh my word, he's got steelier nerves than I. Madhu playing that ball across to Dan Bennett with 2 orange shirts between himself and the veteran fellow centre-back.
He did well to find the out ball from that pressure, Madhu. Albirex taking that as the cue to press. Madhu facing towards his own goal, lacking options. It's a nice pass just to ease that pressure of Tampines, allows them to recycle the ball and build once again.
Nakamura holds off Taniguchi well. Shah in plenty of space, finds Armin. That's been their preferred route, left rather than right in this first half. Not that Mark Ryan Tan's been uninvolved. Irwan Shah. Irwan. I was trying to thread it through to Armin on the return. Have to make do with the throw. Absorbing game, this, isn't it, Roshan? You wouldn't want to call it at this stage, and that's what we want. Good competitive matches of football. Obviously, you're not getting one of those, unfortunately, at OTH, but this one is making up for it. Fascinating. Can you call it watching it at home? Live on Singtel StarHub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook channel, One Play Sports, and our media partners around the world. Armin showing good hustle there, just not anticipating it. Boris and Koga, with his distribution, gets Albirex away at the races. Now this could be danger for the Stags. Takiwa's already created 1 goal. Full marks to Mark Ryan Tan and Irfan Najib for tracking back. Chiku, Takiwa. They can't give Takiwa space down that left. Here's Ong Yuen. Kunimoto. Yamashita. Kept possession for about 20 straight passes there, Albirex, effortlessly. No signs of conceding possession anytime soon. Here's Chico. Takiwa could get to this and does. Takiwa. Suboi waits in the middle. Haven't seen much of Suboi so far today, and that could end up being ominous. Nakamura, though, they finally give the ball away, and Nakamura gives a chase for Boris, but that positioning of Koga again helps him out there, Rosh, and he's so far forward outside his area, he got to that with ease.
Well, in possession in those moments when Albirex are pushing further forward, you need to keep that high line, and of course your goalkeeper needs to press up with the rest of the side as well. So any balls that come over the top, quick to come out and deal with that, help your central defenders out in those situations, and he's done well, Koga again.
Well, it's quite an open, attractive game of football, this. No hint of the stalemate that was goalless that we saw against Balestier with Albirex a couple of weeks back. Really gripped by it. Just get the feeling, every time one team gets a goal, a bit like we saw when Tampines opened, the other side's more than capable of going straight up the other end and getting the equaliser if they really are going into that motion thinking they've got to score a goal and they're behind. At the moment, it's just because it's all square. I think we haven't seen a third goal yet.
Well, they're dropping off, Tampines Rovers here. They're a little bit too deep at the moment, inviting Albirex to push onto them in midfield. But there will be these opportunities. Armin Bosniak, always an outlet, down his left-hand side. Yeah,
lovely play from Yasser as well, and headed intelligently by Kunimoto. He cushioned that header so Koga would be able to retrieve the ball, and again made the header knowing that he wasn't going to wrong foot his keeper. He made sure it wasn't on target in terms of the goal rush, and all round very intelligent thinking from Rio Kunimoto.
Yeah, you want to head it back to your goalkeeper, make sure it's away from goal, which he did there. He does mess it up, at least it goes out for a corner, not an own goal.
Lion City Sailors lead by 4. It could get ugly at our Tampines half. Geylang nil. Lion City Sailors now have 4. Oh, that's nice. Nice from Ashioka. Can Ashioka find the support? He pulls it back. Faris Hassan gets it back to Ong Yuen, who slices with a bit of top spin that shot. He's gobbled up by Shazwan. That was danger again there.
Yeah, it's really, well, it was difficult attempt for Ong Yuen, really, from on the edge of the box here. The ball from Fyros, the difficult one to really get on target or to do much with Ong Yuen. But just the approach play from Albirex once again. It was Kunimoto with that big switch out onto the right-hand side and put Tampines in the spot of bother. Hashioka doing well just to take it away from Irwan Shah.
Mahana. Interesting shape. Tampines have now, they pushed the fullbacks right into midfield, and it's worked a treat in terms of creating space on the flanks for the likes of Armin and Mark Ryan Tan. Armin again. Yasir Henapi. Armin back to Nakamura.
He's just been a delight to watch, Nakamura. You just have a look at him and these little passes around the pressure. Releases Tampines forward, and once again, Bosniak down the left.
Yasir to Armin. Kunimoto with the clearance just off the toes of Boris. Yeah, Nakamura pulling strings for Tampines in the middle of the park as we approach the final 5 minutes of a first half that's been absorbing, it's been gripping, and it's seen Tampines take the lead through Boris Kapitovic before Ryoya Taniguchi squared it up 12 minutes later. That was in the 21st minute. Since then, no more scores, but both teams looking capable. Ong Yuen with a lovely outside of the foot pass is released down the left-hand side to Kiwa, is on the overlap. Ong Yuen gets it back to Tezuka, he can hit them. So can Hashioka, and so can Taniguchi and Suboi! And would you believe it, the flag has stayed down. Suboi was onside, a free header on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he's missed.
That would have been one of the goals of the season already this early on in the SPL season. From back to front, the way they move this one so quickly forward. Have a look at the build-up here. Taniguchi, that's such an intelligent ball into Suboi. He needs to finish that. He's just stretching and he misconnects. He gets his timing of his header all wrong there in that situation. It's a move that deserved the goal. Wonderful approach play by Albirex. It's completely missed times the header, Suboi.
Diego Lopez is the scorer of the fourth goal. He's now got to brace Diego Lopez, the $3 million man. That was a push. They'll get the free kick there, Tampines. And I think at this point, the way Gavin Tan's looking at this game now, he'll think, let me get these boys in at half-time now and maybe just try and regroup, because all of a sudden, Albirex, over the last 5 or so minutes, have started to look the more likely to get the next goal.
They're looking a little bit fatigued off the ball, Tampines. In possession, absolutely no problem. They're moving it really well, but once they lose it, defense getting a little bit stretched.
Houang. Houang's got to be careful here. Nakamura. Oh, safe pair of feet to play that out. That possession though, and look at the space Ong Yuen's got. Goodness gracious me, there's no one within 10 yards of him. Ong Yuen threads it through, Taniguchi. Oh, Taniguchi spotted Fyros, keeper comes. And probably Shazwan does just enough to put Fyros Hassan off, but look at the space they gave Ong Yuen in the middle of the park, Russia.
Well, perhaps a little bit of confusion there in that back line, just as that ball's played through into Fyros. But yeah, I mean, they lose it in midfield once again, Tampines Rovers, and then there's a little bit gap for Ong Yuen to try and exploit. Carries the ball forward well in the end between Shazwan and Irwan to deal with it.
Madhu, it's a great find. He's picked up Shah Shahir, and now Shah's got the same kind of space that Ong Yuen had a couple of moments ago. Mark Ryan Tan's all on his lonesome on this near side if they decide to switch it. Armin gets it back to Houang, to Shah. I've been told there will be 3 minutes of time added on. Obviously, we have the stoppages for Dan Bennett and Shazwan. So we have still got about 5 minutes to play in this first half.
Nothing much coming down this right-hand side for Tampines. It's been mostly down the left with Armin Bosniak, the main chance created on that left-hand side. Gonna just try and get him in a bit of space to work his magic. He's put in a couple of really good deliveries so far.
Kunimoto, who said a solid enough half, gets there first. I suppose you could argue he was potentially ball watching for the goal, and that's a free kick. Give it against Taniguchi.
Yeah, he's just got his arms all over Yasir in that situation. I think it's two players battling for the ball, really. I didn't see too much wrong in that. Both got their arms across.
Shah. Armin. I think Armin's probably had as many touches as anyone on the field here. Another ball looking for Boris. Comes out to Yasir Hanapi. He can score the spectacular. Still Yasir Hanapi. He gets it through to Boris. Can Boris get the shot away? They just did enough. I think it was Ryo Kinimoto that just hustled enough to stop Boris getting a clean strike. Roshan, right?
Yeah, just enough of a nudge there by Kunimoto, making sure he was enough of a nuisance. But it's wonderful work by Yasir once again. Great tenacity, keep hold of the ball and find Boris in the penalty area.
UN gets it to Suboi. He's laid it on to Takiwa. Takiwa's into the area, needs to square it back. Just taken off the toes of Taniguchi by Dan Bennett with another top piece of defending from the veteran. So Dan Bennett at one end, Kunimoto at the other, and now Boris is away once more. He's got Yamashita for company. He's going to need support. He'll get it with Armin. And they just slow it right down, almost a walking pace now to reset. Mark Ryan Tan goes in. Nakamura on the edge of the area, and it's over everyone and into the hands of Koga. That's one that Armin would like back. Solid header from Fan Najib. Yasir Hanapi. Houang to Armin. There will be 3 minutes.
The fourth match official
Added on.
indicates 3 minutes of added time to be played. 3 minutes.
Dan Bennett. Happy to give Dan Bennett all the time and space in the world. They must believe he's not capable of finding the dream pass to dissect the Albirex backline. Here's Chiku. And that's the Black Knights, the artists formerly known as the Yellow Knights, the Tampines fan group, striking up the band at the other end of the field to where the action currently is. You can see the Swan Army in the right-hand screen there, the right-hand corner. Is there going to be a sting at the end of this first half for either side here? Suggestion here is I think that maybe both teams have put the cue in the rack for half-time, even though there's 2 minutes to go. Madam Mahana goes all the way back to Shazwan. Shazwan with an ill-advised little chip pass there. He's got it straight to Fairoz. And he'll be grateful, Shazwan, that Suboi miscontrolled that. That was completely unnecessary. Mark Ryan Tan now having to find a pass. He gets back to Madu. You've highlighted this, Roshan. They're just dropping off a little bit, aren't they, Tampines? Inviting Albirex to really be terrier-like at their toes. This place passed by Boris, but at least they find some space down this left-hand side. Houang gets it onto Armin. Yasir, back to Armin, whose attempt to try and drift that in for Boris goes astray.
Well, they worked that one out really well. I mean, especially with Boris just dropping off as deep as he did when they were under pressure. A longer ball that released into him, he was able to hold it up. That eased the pressure on Tampines. Eventually ended up with them having an opportunity to trouble the Albirex defense. A couple of mistakes creeping into the game here from Alberex's perspective. Tokiwa just letting that one run out of play.
It's been a strange game. It's almost been like, not intensity, maybe concentration's been lacking at times from both sets of players. I wonder whether we'll get a very different type of game in the second half, because it's been very open. That's offside, and that will surely bring us to half-time.
Well, thankfully, it's a lot cooler now. So hopefully see an increase in intensity again in that second half.
And I know you keep admonishing me for talking about title races, but we are 6 games in, only a 21-game season. They'll know these players, so I'm sure they'll be told, let's not kid ourselves, that the Sailors are 4-0 up. And I think most teams in the division will count themselves lucky. The Sailors have effectively given away a bit of a start this season. So, whereas if there was only 2 teams you fancied to win the title, you might say, well, this early in the season we'll settle for a draw. I think both teams will want all 3 points here today. On UN. Takiwa, they've managed to build up an advantage over the Lion City Sailors. They don't want to give it up. Well, a fascinating, absorbing first 45, Roshan. Tampines taking the lead after 9 minutes
And
to
they
Boris
have it,
Kapinovic
ladies
and Taniguchi, leveling it up 12 minutes later. 1-1, fair view on balance?
Yeah, I think a fair result going into the halftime break. Both these sides showing good quality in those attacking positions. On the ball, they've both been very good. But defensively at times looking a little bit ragged, Tampines. I think, a bit of work to do. And this halftime break for Gavin Lee. He's got to organize them. They're a little bit too deep. Wants to push them up a little bit more defensively.
Half-time here, Albirex Niigata 1, Tampines Rovers 1. We'll give you the best of the action from the first half and tell you what's happening at OTH, where the Lions City Slaters are flying next.
Official wearable
Welcome back to Jurong East Stadium. Half-time, it's Albirex Niigata, the defending champions, won last season's runners-up Tampines Rovers, won in what's been an interesting old game, quite open, end-to-end, but not played at a frenetic pace. Rosha and Ryan, on balance, I think, as you said just before half-time, 1-1 probably about right, but I get the feeling it's going to change in the second half.
I think so. It's in these conditions as well. We spoke about the weather and how hot it was. And Tampines, I mean, this goal here and the build-up to it was absolutely brilliant. Bosniak just having that little bit of space to work with, gets it onto his right foot and delivers quality into the box. We touched on in our build-up to this, I said that Albirex will have difficulty dealing with crosses. It's a bit of a weakness for them, and I think once again the loose marking in the box and Gavin is able to bounce and put that in the back of the net.
That came after 9 minutes. Firas Hassan had already missed a very easy chance to give Albirex the lead. It was a lead that didn't last very long for Tampines Rovers, though. Lovely work from Ong Yuen to Kiwa and Taniguchi. Doesn't get much simpler than that, does it, Rosha?
Yeah, he keeps his composure with the finish there. Doesn't need to lash out at it, hit it with power. He's just guided past the goalkeeper, and that's exactly what he does. Ong Yuen, wonderful quality once again. I love the work that he does down the left-hand side. Hangs on to it, just draws a few defenders towards him by holding onto the ball, and then picks an intelligent pass into Kiwa, who finds his target in the area to equalise for his side.
Now Nakamura's got a goal-scoring taste after his double on Wednesday, and he nearly was on the score sheet here. Boris Kapitovic just couldn't get the ball out from under his feet. Armin was involved in here as well. I think this is actually the Armin chance, isn't it, when it was blocked, and then out to the outside with Nakamura's long-range effort comfortably saved. Yeah,
eventually comes back out to Nakamura. Comfortably saved by Koga. There's plenty of power behind that, but it's right in the near post. There's a goalkeeper with a comfortable save in that situation. Again, he's been very good for Albirex. Just that clever ball into Kapitovic initially. Well marshalled by Kunimoto, stands his ground, side on, makes sure he can't get a free clear shot at goal, and eventually they get the numbers back to block out Armin Bosniak. Before the shot that Nakamura takes in central midfield. I think he's been very good for them in those central midfield positions. Kyoga Nakamura just moving the game forward for Tampines Rovers.
This is Taniguchi, didn't miss by very much, but miss it did Shazwan, I think had it covered. But where we were now, this is just after the half-hour mark. Safe to say, as the half went on, Albirex seemed to get a little bit more likely.
Well, we started to see Tampines just dropping off, going a little bit deeper, inviting that pressure a bit more. Yassi at times was a little bit frustrated because he wanted them to push up and press high up. This was a beautiful flowing move, Patrick, by Albirex. I think it deserved the goal. Ong Yuen again carrying the ball forward, releasing it into Tezuka initially. Such a clever pass. Cross, I should say, into the box of Taniguchi. Suboy just gets the timing of his header wrong here. This was a move for me that deserved the goal. Wonderful team play by Albirex Niigata. Just stretching and mistiming the header in that situation, Suboy. Big chance goes a begging.
So 1-1 at the break, but Albirex are going to be unlucky not to go into half-time in front. There's the tail of the tape. You can see Tampines actually with more attempts on target. They've both had 6 shots apiece. Not a single corner in a half of football. Don't often see that. And just the 1 yellow card, which was to Suboy. Now, let's check out what's happening at our Tampines hub, because we've had plenty of goals there, 4 in fact, and they've all gone to the visitors of the Lion City Sailors. Gabriel Crack with the early opener. Diego Lopez has got a brace for his first goals in Singapore football, and Saifullah has got 1 as well. Very quickly, you're surprised with what's happening there, or did you expect the Lion City Sailors to win?
I expected Lion City Sailors to win that, but 4-0 at halftime is just brilliant from LCS.
So it looks like the points are secure for the Sailors at OTH, but who's going to get the 3 points here at JE? Jurong East, the second half, Albirex Niigata and Tampines Rovers coming up next. We're 1-1 at half-time. Stay with us.
AIA Vitality. Your health is every choice you make. We are part of a global wellness program with over 1.65 million members in AIA across Asia. And in Singapore, we have more than 100,000 members on AIA Vitality. Members live healthier by knowing their health through online health assessments and screenings. They improve their health by logging exercises and enjoying the rewards to keep them going. And indeed, members are making improvements in their health. Even the vitality age gap has narrowed to less than a year. Best of all, you earn points for every activity. The higher your status, the greater the rewards, including up to 15% off insurance premium on selected AIA plans. To keep you going, there is the weekly fitness challenge, with personalized targets to help pace and improve your fitness. When you complete the challenge, you get a spin on the Vitality Wheel to earn Vitality Coins, which you can use at the marketplace. That's not all. You also earn AIA Vitality Points for completing these activities. And very soon, you'll be on your way to Platinum status. And we sweeten the deal further with many exciting partner benefits that you can enjoy. With AIA Vitality, nothing gets better than a healthier you. So get onto AIA Vitality today because your health is every choice you make.
Welcome back live to Jurong East, where it's 1-1 at half-time. And as we usually see with Albirex Niigata, a change is coming. Roshamra alongside me. Looks like Kuraba Kondo is coming on, and I'm only anticipating a wild guess. It'll be Faraz Hassan that makes way, but we'll find out in a moment. I can't see Faraz out there just yet. Don't see any sign of life amongst the Tampines substitutes. What do you make of the now predictable half-time change for Albirex?
Yeah, I think you'd be right to say Faraz Hassan will be the player to be replaced by Kondo coming in. That should be an interesting change, and I don't think Faraz really had that effective of a first half for Albirex, so it's no surprise for me to see him coming off.
Missed a great chance early as well,
Missed a great chance, yeah, to open a scoring for them. But it's great to see once again Ong Yuen going to get lots and lots more minutes for this Albirex side, and he deserves it because the performances have shown Sugar told me that he deserves more time on the pitch, as we see a player with really good pedigree coming on. Kuraba Kondo, Japanese youth international, still 18 years of age. Play with Cerezo Osaka under 23s, so you know he brings quality to this Albirex side.
Yep, that's the change. Faraz Hassan out and Kondo in. Tampines sticking with the 11 that have seen them to this point so far, but as we saw with Marko Kravic's Balestier, they came here and tried to make sure they had something in reserve on the bench to give them some impetus in the second half. They've got Mehmedovic, of course. Torvik Sapana came off the bench to score in this game last season in that 4-1 win. And by Haki Kaizan is also an option if they needed to try and protect the lead and shore things up in the closing stages. All in all, an absorbing 45 minutes ahead. You're watching live AIA Singapore Premier League coverage on Singtel Star Hub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page, OnePlay Sports, associated social media channels and partners around the world. A warm welcome as the floodlights are on Sunday night in Singapore. Just past 6:30 in the evening here. The night will well and truly draw in by the closing stages of this one. So the lights are on. Can Tampines win by 2 clear goals to go top of the league? Can Albirex win to retake top spot from Houang United, or will these two teams draw, allowing Houang to be top of the table after 6 games as it stands? If Tampines Rovers were to lose here, the Lion City Sailors, who are 4 up at Geylang, would leapfrog the Stags into 3rd. And similarly, if the Sailors win, as they're going to do, and Albirex Niigata lose, the Sailors would then relegate Albirex Niigata to 4th. So there's plenty of permutations in the league table. It bores Roshan to tears, but it entertains me. Here we go then. Second stanza underway. Tampines in the white playing right to left. Albirex Niigata in the orange playing left to right. And away we go. Here's Nakamura. going down, and an early free kick opportunity for Tampines Rovers, which really is a bit of a gift.
Oh, this man Nakamura was thought very good for Tampines in that first half, and again, just with that driving run straight from kickoff, winning aside a free kick in a good position once more.
He had a go from this kind of range straight at Koga's goal in the first half when the wall was a little bit higgledy-piggledy. The wall doesn't look rock solid either this time, by the way. Very confusing the way Albirex are lining up to defend this. Nakamura might be tempted to have a go again. Nakamura! Well, it was, I suppose, looking for the run of Yasir or Madu Mahana, but ultimately wasted, Roshan.
Yeah, just a bit too much on that by Nakamura on this occasion. Just with the signal beforehand. Just looking for Madu to make that run into the 6-yard box. Just a little bit too much on it. There's a shake of the head from Madu there, saying I'm never going to get that. Kyoga.
Head up by Madu Mahana. Yasir. Armin. Yasir. Looking for Boris, and that's good reaction work from the skipper, Yasir Hanapi. Headed up in the air by Houang. Nakamura, not entirely sure what he was doing there. It was like he was pirouetting on an ice rink. Here's Irfan Najib. Nakamura regains his composure, gets it back to Madu. Tampines enjoying the lion's share of possession through the first 90 seconds of the second half, Roshan.
Just looking to invite that pressure once again, looking for opportunities to break forward when they can, but Albirex are going to take this invitation to press right here.
And they've coughed up the mistake, only to give the ball straight back to the Stags. Shah Shahiran in his last appearance before taking off for national service. Oh, that's a really poor pass from the usually reliable Nakamura. It's given to Zuka a chance to thread them through. Here's Taniguchi. Taniguchi, that was handball from Suboi, was it?
Yep, handball.
Referee didn't see it, he plays on. I think the referee may have been blindsided there. There's lots of players between him and the ball, and indeed Suboi. Something about Subois and handballs today. Hashioka, Madu. Oh, that was well worked by Boris, but needs some support. Look how deep Boris has had to drop, Roshan.
Yeah, just to help his side out here. Tampines feeling that pressure from Albirex early on at the start of this second half. Well, started out with Nakamura just playing a ball that was picked up by Tezuka. He's cutting out that pass and just trying to slow it down now again, just to get the rhythm of passing and moving going. It's Nakamura and Irwan Shah just switch positions for a second in the build-up.
There's Yasir on this near side. It's Armin. Nakamura. Still the game. I'm fascinated by this. It's a decent game, some nice movement, but it's not being played at a pace at all, is it? It's being played very pedestrian.
Substitution for Albirex Niigata, Football Club Singapore.
Shah Shahiran, here's Armin.
Is being replaced by player number 32, Kuraba Konro.
Loose touch goes to Nakamura. Nakamura to Armin. Again, they keep trying to get the ball up and over Hashioka and Kunimoto when they're trying to get it to Boris, and they're two sizable players in themselves. Shah Shahiran. Inside to Yassi. This is nice from Tampines, and that's very nice to release Mark Ryan Tan to the byline. Cross comes in. Boris had it taken off his head, and Armin just couldn't get there before Albirex managed to get it away. Mark Ryan Tan again seen to good effect as Nakamura runs it out.
He was just trying to pick that one up again, Nakamura, to get things going for his side. Lovely work down this right-hand side. Clever pass through by Yase into Mark Tan. And it's Yamashita who gets to the ball first, ahead of Boris in that situation.
Madu gets it back to Shazwan. Dan Bennett. He's been relatively assured, the oldest man on the pitch at 43 years of age. Remarkable career he's had for both club and country.
Yase on that occasion just nicely popping up in a bit of space to provide support, provide that pass forward, the passing option forward for Tampines.
Bennett to Madu. Nakamura drops incredibly deep to Dan Bennett. Will Gavin Lee be happy with what he's seen from his team so far today, 50 minutes in, Roshan?
Yeah, I think so. You know, in general, they've been, all right, Tampines in possession of the ball. I think they've looked pretty good. As I said, you know, at times when they don't have the ball, they will want to try and be a little bit more aggressive in their pressing against Albirex instead of sitting just too deep and inviting that pressure. But right now, as you can see, once again, some nice patterns of play, just moving the ball from left to right, getting forward, patient in the build-up. They'll wait for the opportunity to arrive. There's no need to rush things.
Houang trying to get it to Irfan Najib. And the free kick this time goes the way of Albirex. They might have wanted the advantage there. Just trying to see what Gavin Lee might do to mix things up. You obviously got Paihak who could come on for Dan Bennett. Mehmedovic maybe an option if he thinks Nakamura or Shah Shahiran are running out of petrol. What have you made of Armin Bosniak so far? He's not been an altogether regular starter through his first 6 games, but he's giving them an option down that left-hand side, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a nice positive option down the left. You know, when you get it into him, he's always going to either try and drive at his defender or just look to create a little bit of space so he can send a cross into the box. It's quite different actually from what Jordan Webb used to, or very different from what Jordan Webb used to bring to this Tampines side. You know, Webb very direct, great dribbler of the ball. He used to take defenders on and could draw defenders towards him.
Yes, Yasser Henapi taking Kondo on, who's going to be spoken to by referee German Zaiton. Just the 1 yellow card in the matchup so far, going to Suboy. Bit cynical that, Roshan.
Yeah, Kondo was well beaten by Yasser. Again, Yasser is popping up down this left-hand side. Said earlier, it's an area where he just looks to get himself into to help Tampines move the ball forward.
I'm in. Shah. Nakamura. Nice work, very simple but effective. Albirex wanted to chase shadows just for a minute there. Yasser gets the ball stuck under his feet. Still Tampines maintain possession, not entirely sure where they thought they were going there though, and Nakamura's now down holding his right ankle. That's not potentially good news. He's going to hobble on.
Well, it looked like there should have been a free kick given to Tampines there. Nakamura just taken out a little bit too late, that situation. And that's hit Irwan right in the face. So it's gone out of play.
I'm being told that Mark Ryan Tan will be replaced by Mehmedovic momentarily. So Rudy Mehmedovic about to come on, and that's an interesting move for me. Fresh legs against some maybe tiring ones from Albirex. Not exactly a like for like with Mark Tan's width. He's more of a central player through the middle, Mehmedovic, but it's going to be interesting to see how they reshape after that. Roshan will give us his thoughts shortly after Taniguchi comes down the left-hand side and into the area. That was very cool, calm and composed by Irwan Shah. Irfan Najib, I should say, apologies.
It was really well defended by Irfan Najib, and he got caught wrong side initially of the attacker. Well, Taniguchi was just driving in towards the box there, and he just worried for a second that Irfan might have given him a penalty, but he's done really well just to win the ball back for his side.
Right, this change is coming, Roshan. How's this going to affect things? Because it's not really like for like, is it?
No, it's not. It's just going to change in terms of that profile of play a little bit. As you mentioned, Mark Tan will be that pacey, direct sort of winger out on that right-hand side. Mehmedovic can come in and play a little bit more centrally in those areas, give them a bit more of a presence in those central positions. So you can see Shah actually go out to the right-hand side. But it does affect the shape a little bit, Tampines.
So Rudy Mehmedovic in his second season with the Stags. Won rave reviews last year. Well, that's nice. Song Yuen down the left-hand side. There's runners over the top. Hashioka's there. But Irwan Shah's head prevents it getting to the Albirex Niigata skipper. Chiku. Kondo. Oh, lovely touch from Taniguchi. Hashioka's onside, and Shazwan has to stand up, and stand up he does well. And now we will get the first corner of the contest. Russian right.
Yeah, nice bit of passing and movement from Albirex here. Down this right-hand side, Kondo just picks out that pass and links it with Taniguchi. Just trying to squeeze it in at that near post, I think, was Hashioka. Lovely work, passing and moving. Very difficult for that Tampines defence to deal with.
The Stags are relying on a side flag there that never came. Meanwhile, first corner of the contest. Chiku. Decent delivery, headed away by Boris, only as far as the edge of the area where Ong Yuen will collect. Look at Armin herring up there to try and put pressure on Albirex to prevent the call coming straight back in, but it does come straight back in. And that's a really committed challenge again, was that Irfan once more. Wonderful work from Irfan, and Armin showing he's got plenty of petrol left in the tank as he tries to chase down Yamashita and cleverly gets a touch off Armin to make sure the throw goes Albarex's way.
This is, again, really good work by Irfan. Initially, Kondo with that first touch. Just getting it away from Irfan, who does well to recover. Put in a strong challenge. The Ong Yuen initially had won it off Irfan. Yep, he does win the free kick for his side. Good work by Ong Yuen once again. Lively customer down the left. He links up really well with his fullback Tokiwa. A nice understanding on the left-hand side for Albirex.
Koga's a mile out of his ground there. If ever they lose possession in that situation, Koga's going to be in no man's land. But far be it from losing possession. Irfan Najib is having a good game to this point. Concedes a free kick on halfway.
I think Ong Yuen saying, you know, how many times is that already, ref? Again, it's good, strong play from a young player. You know, he's showing great maturity there just to hang on to the ball. Nothing going for him. Protects the ball well. Gets his body in the way. Draws the foul, draws the free kick.
Yasir seem to be pushing up a little bit more at Albirex when they're in possession on halfway now than they did in the first half. Not giving them the same time and space they did in the opening 45. Here's Hashioka. Tezuka. Oh, just taking a tumble at an inopportune moment there with Yasir Hanapi. Yamashita. Look how far forward Koga is again. Just helping them to be the pivot and spreading it from one side of the pitch to the other. Here's Chiku. Spraying that long. Looking for Hashioka. And finding Hashioka. Hashioka to the byline, squares it. I think it had gone out of play already, and in any event, there was way too much on the cross. But Hashioka, just so many times against every opponent he goes in down that right-hand side, Roshan.
Oh, it's a great pass by Chiku. Just driven it into the path of Hashioka. But Bosniak, I mean, immediately after that, gets his hands up to apologize, completely misjudged the flight of the ball in the situation, and allows Hashioka to get in behind him. Fortunately for Tampines, Hashioka can pick out a teammate. The cross selection, not quite right. With far too much power and elevation there.
Medevich, his first contribution, getting the ball back to Houang. Dan Bennett tries to clear it down the line. Yasir, now Albirex, their turn to continue that high press style that serves them so well. Medevich buys himself some time and spreads it out wide to Irfan Najib. Shah Shahiran. Going to be a loss for them when Shah Shahiran goes, isn't it, Roshan?
Yeah, I think so. You know, a player of his quality, out of your side, of your squad.
Taniguchi back to Kondo. Kondo again, they always look for Hashioka, and they found Hashioka once more. Right to go near him, it's back to Ong Yuen. Sailors have added a fifth at OTH. Geylang International 0, Lion City Sailors 5.
And what it is as well is taking out an under-23 player from your squad, going international service. I mean, it's something that Tampines will have been aware of course they will have, but still it's disruptive, isn't it, to your squad, and especially a player like Shah with the quality that he has.
I think that was the theory between bringing Iman Hakim in, who was here last season. So, you know, the one good thing about the clubs is they do know when the players are going for national service. It's not sprung at them at a minute's notice, is it? So, Deson, Gavin, great team at Tampines. I'm sure they've planned it well. Well, this was unnecessary. Concession of the corner. But that doesn't come back to bite Tampines on the backside. They've been competitive to this point. Final half hour we enter. Both teams with 2 substitutions still up their sleeves. Chiku. Delivery goes deep. Don't know whether that was a push or the ball went out and came back in. Is it a push, Roshan? Or did
Might have been a shove in the back of Madhu there by Konemoto.
Rock steady, Dan Bennett. Here's Houang. Houang's just had the ball taken off and they'll concede a free kick as well. That's unnecessary. Kondo wins the free kick and now they're going to have a chance to launch another. It's just been out-muscled there, no excuses really.
Yeah, by Kondo, good work by Kondo. I mean, he's just strong. The moment everyone pushes that ball out onto his left-hand side, he nips in and tries to win it back, gets inside that free kick. A couple of lapses of concentration down this left-hand side by everyone.
Hashioka, even he's not sharp enough to keep that one in. There you can see the Albirex Niigata bench warming up behind there. None of them look like they're imminently ready for action, do they? Game's just ebbing away a little bit, Roshan, isn't it? Needs something to happen to spark it back into life.
I think it's Albirex trying to make something happen. Being their home side.
Tezuka.
Just patiently probing away, looking for that second goal, Albirex Niigata on this one.
Kunimoto. Hashioka that time did manage to keep it in, but nearly invited the pressure from Boris. Oh, that's a lovely first touch. He's made him beat his man. Madhu Mahana gets a touch and it's just enough. Good improvisation from Madhu there, Roshan.
Well, that first touch from Tokiwa was excellent and so important because it keeps the momentum of the move going forward. It's a positive first touch into the space ahead of him. Just couldn't quite get the cross right. Hit the cross a little bit, allowing Madhu to get it away.
Jabril Quack got the 5th goal. He's got his 5th and 6th goals this afternoon of the season at OTH. Sailors leading Klang 5-0. Well, they've got in again here. Suboy Kondo deflected it in. Well, a messier goal you won't see all season, but to an element, it has been coming. It'll be credited to Kondo, but Tampines are kicking themselves about conceding that, Roshan. Very poor defence.
Yeah, have a look at the work from Rira Taniguchi here. He just gets past Madhu Mahana far too easily. It's taken a bit of a deflection.
Is he not
of
offside?
Madhu.
I
thought it might have been offside, Taniguchi there, but doesn't touch him. He's not involved in the play. It's fine. It's clean. It's come off Madhu, so it's completely all right in that situation. He's not affecting the play there. Great work by Taniguchi initially, and I think he doesn't quite hit it perhaps as well as he would have liked, Kondo, but you know, it's on target. Gets a bit of a deflection, ends up in the back of the net.
That's the unfortunate thing, because if Madhu doesn't get that deflection, then they would have been offside, because they'd have had to try and finish that off, because at that pace with that strike it wasn't going to beat Shazwan. So Albirex have done to Tampines so far what Tampines did to them last season. They've come from behind to lead. What have the Stags got in the locker, because they've been a little bit lethargic in this second half. Bedovic's introduction hasn't had the desired effect.
He was just asking me about the pace of the game, and I think, you know, saying Albirex, to the credit, other side looking like they were going to go and get their second goal, but Tampines looking for a quick response here.
Boris laid it off to Yasu, didn't get a fine connection. I mean, there's still 25 minutes to go, but I'm looking out there and I'm looking at some players that look quite tired and leggy. Now, I'm being told Boris Kapidovic is going to be substituted, which does surprise me. Taufik Sapano is going to come on. So Taufik, who came off the bench to score in this fixture last season, about to replace Boris. You surprised that Boris is making way, Roshan?
Well, not really. I think in the first half he was okay, but just effectiveness has dwindled a little bit in this second. And you can start to see Albirex getting a foothold in this game in terms of their ability to keep the ball, keep it moving. Perhaps they want a bit more energy from the front. Taufik coming in is going to have to just put these Albirex defenders under a bit of pressure when they do have the ball.
Tezuka. Well, Albirex now are doing Albirex things, aren't they? are kind of doing it away what Tampines have been doing to them in various parts of the game. They're just passing it round, making Tampines chase shadows. They need to change something here, the Stags, because as it stands, they're going to drop down to 4th in the AIA Singapore Premier League table tonight. And here's Taniguchi, is he onside? He was, you know. It's a goal kick.
Again, another opportunity coming down that left-hand side on this occasion. You wonder if there was perhaps a bit of a tactical mistake bringing Mark Tan off, with Mehmedovic coming in, and that right-hand side, Irfan Najib at times looking a little bit exposed. Yes, they do have numbers in the middle, but they don't have that natural width down the right-hand side anymore. Taufik looks to come on.
Substitution for Tampines Rovers FC, player number 9, Boris Komitovic, is being replaced by player number 13, Taufik Suparno.
Don't like to read too much into these things, but there was no eye contact between coach and Boris when he left the field of play. Oh, that's good work from Shah. Now can he sign off before national service by dragging Tampines back into this? Nakamura's found the gear as well. Pass just needs to go a little bit earlier. Now Mehmedovic is down that right-hand side. Yasser Hanapi screaming for it. Yasser Hanapi gets it, and the header is just wide.
Much better from Tampines in possession. They're moving forward quickly. Nakamura, once again, it's driving things for them in central midfield. Get it out to Mehmedovic, who's got space to whip in a delightful ball. He's just stretching for the header, Yasser. Difficult to get much of direction on that. He's stretching for it. He does well to get his head on it. It's difficult to redirect it back towards goal to trouble Koga. It's a good response from Tampines Rovers.
It's the liveliest they've looked and closest to scoring in the second half as the Sailors had a 6. Giving Tampines a run for their money. That record that Tampines had at the biggest win of the season so far, 7-0 last Wednesday against the Young Lions, might not last very long. There's still 23 minutes to play there and the Sailors have already got 6. Problems for getting international. Here's Hashioka. Inside to Kondo. Kondo looking to play Hashioka back in, but there's too much on that. And Owen Shah can just run it out for a goal kick. Stipe Plazimat on the score sheet for the first time this afternoon. He's got the 6th.
Well, you look at... Sorry, Patrick, you're just going to say you look at that from Tampines and they don't have an option down the right-hand side. So every time it goes into Irfan, he's got to go back into the middle. So essentially, you make these options for them a little bit more predictable. But thankfully for them, it's broken down now here for Albirex and a chance for Tampines to get themselves forward.
Well, Mehmedovic is trying to improvise down that right-hand side, but he's not got the same bite as Mark Ryan Tan necessarily within that position. He's looking for the run now. Nakamura, Shah Shahiran, Taufik Suparno. Taufik, who himself is already a goal scorer this season, as that shot comes in straight at Koga. And that's the other problem when you're chasing the game against Albirex. You aren't going to get any gift wrap presents, are you? Because Koga's not going to let in any soft ones. And, you know, you're really going to have to work hard to get back onto level terms now, let alone win the match.
Yeah, it's Rase with just a little bit of space on the edge of the area, but it's a simple enough catch by Koga, who's forced to play it out for treatment to one of his players.
Oh, yeah, over that far side. I think that's
on UN.
They're going to take the water break now, just to double that up. On UN, maybe a bit of cramp. Will he be the next player to be changed, you'd think, by Shigatomi? I'm being told, yes, on UN is about to be replaced by Hanada. Here's that go-ahead goal.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's good work. It's just Taniguchi has been very lively for them in this game. Got himself a goal. That touch past Madhu, just completely loses sight of his man. Goes past him, and to compound things for poor Madhu. So this is deflection off him. Ends up in the back of the net. Credited to Kondo, and rightly so on this occasion. Would have been an attempt on target.
Yeah, just still can't help think if Madhu doesn't get that touch, I don't think the shot's got enough pace and they would have been offside. So frustrating deflection from Madhu Mahana, but they did show signs of life just before the water break with Yasser Hanapi's header going just wide as confirmation that Ong Yuen's race is run. Great performance again from the Singaporean youngster, Rocha.
Very impressive. Again, every time I've seen him play, he's looked really good, Ong Yuen. He doesn't look scared to go and show what he's all about. Works very hard for this Albirex side. Nice understanding with Tokiwa down the left-hand side, and I think it's a credit to him. Lots of complaints about Singaporean players for Albirex, or the youngsters not getting enough game time, but he's certainly showing that he deserves the minutes on the pitch, and you know, you get rewarded for your performances, and that's great to see.
Yep, he's been one of their best players, I think you'd have to say. Along with some of their top guns as Nakamura sends it back to Koga. 20 minutes for Tampines to avoid what would be their second defeat of the season. A reminder, if they lose here, they drop out the top 3 altogether, with the Sailors on their way to 3 points. Sailors would leapfrog Tampines up to 3rd as it stands. Oh, look at that, just wasteful over on that far side from Irfan Najib. Here's Koga. A reminder, 4 games next weekend, spread over 3 days. Friday night, our feature match, join Rushan and myself for Tampines Geylang. Saturday, good tackle by Dan Bennett. It's Houang, Young Lions, and Tanjung Pagar Albirex here. And then on Sunday, the Sailors and Balestier, which will be a cracker. Here's Armin. Haven't seen much from Armin in the second half offensively. Over the top, trying to play through Taufik Sapano. Taufik Sapano in the area. He's got Armin for support if he needs him. Taufik. Yasir wants it. And Koga again, so certain and assured, takes it off the front hair of Yasir Hanapi.
Yeah, in the air for far too long. Easy one for Koga in the end to come out and claim. There's that different Taufik coming in. Again, talk about different profile of player. Taufik just adding that pace that Kapitovic perhaps didn't quite give them in those attacking positions. But I tell you who else has been really good in this game. As you see that another cross come in, easy for Koga, that one. Shahiran in central midfield for Tampines. Another really good performance, very tidy on the ball. Keeps the side moving as well.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He's left his leg in there, Yase. Let's see how the referee deals with this. Initially, it looked like he might be going towards his pocket. Yase saying to the referee, there's nothing I could do. He's left his boot in there, you know. Yase Hanapi, I think he knows what he's doing in that situation.
Well, yeah, I suppose it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, it always looks worse on the replay. I'm with you. But I think let's just leave it at this. You can leave Yasser Hanapi's name off the petition to bring VAR into the AIA Singapore Premier League. Or go into the book, though, for a yellow. And again, credit Albirex, both the player involved and his teammates, for not making a meal of it. That's the kind of incident which usually we get 10 orange shirts around the ref screaming for blood. We're onside here. It's Hanada. Hanada, Madhu. Got to try and find a way of playing this out from the back a little bit more effectively. Taufik. Support needs to arrive quicker here. Shasha here and screaming for it in the middle of the park. Need to start creating chances, Tampines, and there's another little naughty one that comes in, this time by Takiwa on Nakamura. He'll follow Yasir Hanapi into the book.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, he just comes steaming in. Nakamura does really well there. Just get the touch to get it away from Takiwa. Just mistimes it. Yeah, he knows that Takiwa. Just a little bit too late to that challenge. But again, it's down that right-hand side. It's in the initial build-up, just finding it a bit difficult to progress the ball.
Pushing the back of Medovic there. Pick up a cheap free kick, which they take probably too quickly here because they've gone backwards with it. Madhu over the top looking for the pace of Taufik against Kunimoto. Taufik controls it well. Medovic in support. Yasser Hanapi waits around about the penalty spot. Taufik gets it back, and that's another committed challenge as Taufik also commits a foul himself.
Well, it's nice coming together between Irfan and Hanada. The players going in strong into a challenge. 50-50 ball there. It's the second one. Taufik just adjudged to have been a little bit too physical. On to Kiwa. He's injected pace into that Tampines forward line now. Taufik Suparno.
Getting to the timing proceedings as well when Albirex won't be in any hurry to restart play. Madhu. Header only finds Taniguchi. I tell you, he's been incredibly quiet in the second half. Suboy Roshan. Hardly seen him touch the ball. Here's Armin. Armin inside. Over the top again. You're just playing balls like that. You're relying on an Albirex mistake. They just don't happen as frequently as other teams. They can come again now there with Houang Shah. Nakamura. Armin. Back to Yasir. Here's Houang. That's the furthest forward Houang's been. And it hangs up Kogan. Koga plucks it out of the air.
It's been catching practice for Koga, really. Coming out for these crosses, claiming them really comfortably.
I'm trying to recall a meaningful save he said to make in the match. Can't think of one.
He might have been involved a bit in the first half, maybe a couple of opportunities, but...
Meanwhile, at the other end, Hanada. Suboy! Well, Suboy has missed another sitter. One in the first half and one there, Rush. And how's he missed? It was harder to do what he did, which was stop the ball stone dead.
It's an incredible miss by Suboy. In fact, it's such a bad miss, it's great defending from the Albirex striker for Tampines. I mean, he just completely catches it on the wrong part of his foot there. I don't know. Someone's got to ask him after the game how he's missed that one, Suboy.
Some kind of black magic sorcery, the way he got the spin away. He actually made the ball spin away from the goal.
Dan Bennett's got away with that one. Big time, and so have Tampines.
Hashioka, well, can they capitalise as Lion City Sailors hit Geylang for 7 now. 7-0. Hashioka will get to this, but the cross won't stay in. Well, we've had 7-0 defeats for the Young Lions and now 7-0 and counting for Geylang this week. I mean, the Sailors have got the quality, haven't they, on any given day to really give somebody a pasting. Doesn't matter whether you're Albirex, Tampines, Balestier, Young Lions, Tanjung Bagara, in this case Geylang, but it's probably unfortunate for Geylang that it's come at a time when they've really yet to catch fire. Only the one win all season, that win on the opening day against Tanjung Bagara. Armin's down, but they're playing on here. Taniguchi. Kondo. Spread wide by Chiku. And Mehmedovic will come up with it, and all of a sudden, Armin's miraculously recovered. And maybe a little bit of justice done, because I don't like it when they roll around on the floor like that, trying to get the attacking team to play out, and then when they win possession, they jump back up like they've been given electric shock treatment.
Well done by the team of officials there. I mean, not to fall for that. It was a clean challenge by Kondo to take the ball off Armin. It was gone down cheaply. He was trying to win the free kick.
By Houang. Free kick, Albirex. Just struggling to find a path for a Tampines victory here. Maybe a draw is the best they can hope for at this stage. Because the one thing that Albirex do, different to all the other teams in the division, is they just don't gift goals, do they? You know, we saw the Sailors give 2 goals against Albirex. We've seen Tampines gift goals from time to time. But Albirex, you have to work hard to get anything out of them. Kondo. That was well watched by Dan Bennett, and that's a great pass as well to play at Armin. Armin taking or trying to take players on. He'll win the throw. Referee's giving it Tampines' way.
Well, he only had really Yasir in support in that situation. He had to just carry the ball on his own. Shah's fouled there by Chiku.
Shah takes it quickly to Armin. Armin finds Taufik. Can he get this shot away, Taufik? Sapano dancing into the area. Kunimoto to beat. Might need to go back to Yasir. Yasir's got Shah if he needs him. And also on this near side, Armin back in the mix. Well taken down by Mehmedovic. They've got to try and get a shot away here, and then they've got to try and beat Koga. Yasir, it just opened up for him for a fraction there, but he didn't pull the trigger. Mehmedovic. Still Mehmedovic. Trying to find a way to poke a shot through it. In the end, Tampines scared to shoot, seemingly, Roshan, right?
Well, something for Dan Bennett to deal with here. It's good work by Taniguchi just to force him into concession of possession there to allow the Albirex to push further up the field now. But yeah, I think the moment perhaps was for Yase Anapi, just as it opened up on his right foot. Saw the angle there towards the far post. Just decided against having a crack at goal there. And eventually they had enough orange shirts to snuff out the danger.
Good throw by Hashioka. Kondo's got no one near him. Kondo over on the far side with a poor pass. And that's reciprocated with a poor pass from Irfan Najib, and he's fortunate to get away with the free kick there. Both teams still have a sub up their sleeve.
He's done well to protect the ball, Irfan. It's foul, clear foul by Hanada.
Shah Shahiran. Yasir. Madhu. Medovic. Got to try and find some penetration, Tampines, from somewhere. Albirex have been comfortable enough in this second half to this point. Armin. Oh, that was an uninspiring chest down by Houang, who's noticeably pushing much further forward now that Tampines left back, as you'd expect with them chasing the game. Game's kind of petering out at this point, Roshan, isn't it?
It's something that's going to suit Albirex, take the sting out of it. You want to just try and control possession, use that, kill the tempo of the game when you can, keep Tampines chasing. Can get one more goal of your own, why not? But you can afford to be really patient in these situations. Now it's Tampines that have to go out and try and get the ball back.
Onana did a bit too much there. Lang, Tampines to take the quick free kick with Nakamura. Armin, you get the feeling it's going to take something special to level this game up. Shah Shahiran, can he be the fairy tale ending in his last appearance before disembarking for national service on the Stags Express? But Albirex, if anything, look to have the slightly bouncier spring in their step in these closing stages. Kondo has all the time in the world to pick a pass. Can Suboi make amends? Taniguchi waits in the middle as well. Good defending. Over on that far side, Irfan Najib shields it out for a goal kick.
There was something in the box. There was contact between Suboi and Daniel Bennett there. Might have been just an arm across. Just to see if we can have a look here. Just between the two centre forward and the centre back there. He's just gone bumping into
shoulder to shoulder.
Suboi. Yeah, central defenders, they do that in those situations, as Irfan does well to see out the danger. Nothing in it, Kumi. It happens, that bit of contact happens off the ball all the time. Suboi is trying to earn a cheap penalty, perhaps. Never going to get it.
Madu to Dan Bennett. I'm trying to see the substitutes remaining available to Gavin Lee. Really too much you could do. Do you throw Fazrul on for the last couple of minutes just to go three up top and get desperate? I mean, it's not happening for them at the minute. Not really Gavin Lee's style, that. He's a very methodical, well thought out coach, but game plan at the moment just not as effective as it was last year, and that wonderful head-to-head record's going to take a blow. Taniguchi, Medimahana with the push. Referee not interested. The Albirex bench were more animated than the players and appealing for it, it must be said. Armin can't get the flick on, but he can win it in the pick-up from Ashioka. Now Yasir, he went through on Yamashita there, and now the challengers are getting a little bit niggly, and now Shah Shahiran involved, and it's head-to-head with Chiku. Got to be so careful in that situation. Referee German Zalton going for his notebook here. I'm assuming it's going to be a yellow card to each, is it? Just starting to get spicy, Roshan.
Yeah, you look at, personally don't mind it at all. It's a yellow card for Shah. But it's a competitiveness, you know, both these teams wanting to, for Albirex wanting to see this one out. Let's just have a look here as well. Yase felt that Yamashita left the foot in. There, Shah left the foot in. And really, I mean, look, Chiku's just not happy with that, but he's got to expect that. He's got to expect that to come from Shah. These challenges are going to come in.
top. Is that handball from Taniguchi? Referee says no. That's a challenge. Sliding challenge in there from Dan Bennett. Needed to be timed correctly as well. I always feel in these situations, the team chasing the game are going to create one more, even if it's only a half chance, in the last, what's going to be really 8 minutes of playing time. And they'll do it with another attacker on, because Fazrul is coming on. Edge of the area as Tezuka thought about putting the trigger, and instead spreads it out wide. Fazrul Nawaz is coming on for Irfan Najib for the closing minutes as they throw caution to the wind. Oh, there's a mistake, and talk about Albirex not ever making mistakes. Kurimoto slips and they still get away with it.
It was a loose pass by Yamashita, and thankfully for him, Kurimoto, despite the slip, was able to just get enough of a touch on it, take it past Mehmedovic as Fazrul Nawaz comes on.
There's no question, this is an attack-minded move. Fazrul Nawaz on. He's got 4 minutes to save this for the Stags. Nakamura, they're flirting with danger, even the way they're trying to play it out from the back now. Mehmedovic hasn't really had much of an impact to this point, has he? And he's played Nakamura into trouble, but he's got the free kick, much to the chagrin of Albirex Niigata. They were furious, weren't they, when that penalty was awarded against them on Wednesday night. Nakamura,
yeah, I mean, it is a free kick. I mean, Nakamura is clever enough just to skip past the first challenge. It's all happening here, last few minutes of this game. Tampines, as you mentioned, still enough time to have that one or maybe even two last-ditch opportunities.
Get to, score to, they can still win it. Armin. Nakamura. All the way through, this can come to Mehmedovic, he can hit them! And again, Koga, every time he makes those straightforward saves, it's almost like he's dealing with a back pass.
I mean, they worked this one really well, Tampines, to their credit. Just played through the lines, and there's a nice layoff for Mehmedovic to have a shot at goal.
Suboy off the long clearance. Suboy first time off the post! What's Suboy got to do to score tonight? Well, that was some effort. Shazwan didn't know whether it was the weekend or a weekday, and he was beating all ends up, and the post has been struck. What an effort. This is off the long clearance.
Well, it's a clever bit of improvisation from Suboy. I don't think Shazwan actually expects Suboy to have a crack at goal from there. Catches the goalkeeper off guard, and thankfully for him, it's a comeback off the frame of the goal.
Armin to Torfik, chest it down into the path of Mehmedovic. He can't get the shot away again. And there's going to be some wide open spaces in Tampines' defensive half to exploit, but I think Albirex will just see if they can avoid conceding another goal for the remaining 2 minutes plus change of this one. It remains Albirex Niigata 2, Tampines Rovers 1. Tampines taking the lead in the 9th minute through Boris Kapinovic. Albirex Niigata equalising through Taniguchi, 1 minute at half time. And into the second half, a deflected effort that came off Madu Mahana is the goal that at the moment separates the teams in favour of Albirex Niigata. Kondo officially accredited with that goal. Something about the AIA Singapore Premier League, they don't like to credit own goals, as Shazwan manages to cleverly loft that over Taniguchi to find Dan Bennett. A reminder at OTH, the Lion City Sailors are leading Gelling International by 7 goals to 0. Here's Mehmedovic. Mehmedovic trying to find Fazrul. He's got work to do here, Houang Shah. And a winner throw. Shigatoni not entirely happy.
I thought he'd actually fouled Taniguchi there. He's gotten away with that.
Shazwan. Well, where's this chance going to come from Tampines? Other than Mehmedovic's long-range effort along the turf, they're going to need to find something spectacular to salvage a point here. Otherwise, they're going to go from 2nd to 4th. They started today knowing a 2-goal margin of victory would give them the league leadership. Now they're facing possibly going down to 4th spot. Over the top, Torvik Sapano can't get there. I'm being told only 3 minutes of time added on for stoppages, which won't be music to years of Tampines Rovers that have been hoping for a bit more than that. They're into time added on at OTH as well. Don't forget to catch Farhan Naya at the start of the week on the social media channel One Play Sports for a wrap of all the week's best AIA Singapore Premier League action with the SPL show. Great place to catch up with all the goings on in the league in one package. Just the 3 minutes of time to be added on. And Tampines now haven't scored for 81 minutes. Free kick for the foul on Yasser Hanapi. Albirex believing the 50-50 decisions are going the Stags way in these closing stages. They've got to try and get the ball to this near side, and Armin, I fancy. Dan Bennett does get it to Armin. Armin to Mehmedovic. Mehmedovic. Oh, he's just passed that to Chiku. And it's all hands behind the pump for Albirex Niigata. They're not taking any chances moving forward. They're going to make a change as well. I'm told Suboy is going to be withdrawn just to break up the final seconds of play with Suzuki to come on. Is that just a momentum killer?
Yeah. Man.
Armin.
Well done by Yamashita. Once again, very strong defending by the number 4. Albirex Taniguchi.
Does really well there, Shasha here, and he's had a great game, Roshan. You highlighted it earlier. He's worked and run his socks off. Armin, Mehmedovic. They need to get white shirts in the penalty area and make something happen. Can Armin get to the byline? No, he can't. And wasted opportunity. Frustrations all round as that final change comes for Albirex Niigata. Suboy for Suzuki.
Final substitution for Albirex Niigata Football Club Singapore. Player number 9, Yoshihiro
Lion City Sailors at an 8 in injury time. I seem to remember Albirex Niigata beating, or it might have been, yeah, Albirex Niigata, I think. Or was it Brunei DPMM beat the Young Lions 8-0 one season? But that's bordering on a record score. 8-0. It's not a great day at the office for Geylang, that's for sure. It's not a great day at the office here, other than your goal difference. Tampines Rovers fans are going to feel exactly the same as Geylang fans here. Nobody likes to see their team lose, but in Tampines' case, when they took the lead after 9 minutes, Roshan, but they've been hoping for better than this. Yeah,
I mean, it's a credit to Albirex for the way that they've turned this one around, showing superior fitness in the second half, especially. Much better intensity from them, and Tampines has just sort of lacked ideas going forward, as we see Suzuki just get taken out by everyone. There's been a bit of a lack of quality from Tampines, from certain players in this Tampines lineup at times. I think if Albirex see this one out, it's a deserved result because they haven't really been troubled in the second half. Koga's made routine saves, routine catches from crosses that have come in. Mashita, Kunimoto largely untroubled. They've dealt with this really well. And the fact that Tampines haven't really had much of a sniff in the second half is a credit to the work that Albirex have done in this game. Just to control things, oppressing the structure between the lines, and good tactical shape and discipline.
Fondo, Nakamura wins a free kick. I think they'll probably just have time to smash this up the other end of the park and have one more go at trying to salvage an unlikely point. They've been second best for large parts
that's
of this second half, and that's a needless free kick.
That's just silly from Tokiwa. I mean, just let him have it. Back towards your goal, he's facing his own goals. Let him have it in the situation. Now you just put your side under pressure here. You've given Tampines an opportunity to swing one into the box and challenge for this free kick.
Well, it's going to be the last player of the game. They may as well throw the goalkeeper forward. I never understand why they don't do that more often. Can Tampines steer the point at the death? They might get a corner, and they haven't had a corner for the whole 90 minutes. Well, we've already played 4 minutes of time added on after being told there'd be a minimum of 3, and Tampines get their first corner of the game in the 95th minute. And Dan Bennett, you can be sure, will be a threat here. Would you throw the goalkeeper up if you were the manager? Seriously, Roshan?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's get everyone in there.
It's away, and that will do it. The referee, Jahaman Zaiton, blows for full time, and Albirex Niigata have come from behind to do tonight what they couldn't do last season, and that's beat Tampines Rovers. Disappointment for the Stags. They'll drop down the table after the big win for the Lion City Sailors against Geylang International. 9 minutes in, Boris Kabinovic gave the Stags the lead after good work from Mark, Ryan Tan, Shah Shahiran and Armin. The lead only lasted 12 minutes though. Taniguchi finishing off a nice move that involved Ong Yuen and Takiwa, and the killer goal came just after the hour mark. Karuba Kondo, his effort scuffed off a deflection by Mari Mahana to leave Shazwan wrong-footed. It's finished here. Albirex Niigata 2, Tampines Rovers 1.
Final score, Houang International FC 0, Lion City Sailors FC 8. Alright, that's it from us. Ladies and gentlemen, good night, take care.
So do stay with us. We've got a full post-match show coming your way with all the very best of the action and the highlights from what we've just seen. There's the tail of the tape. Well, I'm not being funny. Well, 10 shots each, maybe it's right. Seems a bit off to me. Yellow cards 2 apiece, no red cards, thankfully. And obviously we don't get the possession on that, but I would imagine Albirex Niigata, after that second half showing, would have been up to about 60% possession.
I think so. Maybe moving slightly more towards Tampines Rovers as that second half wore on, but really Albirex were in control of that second half. And again, I think when you look at you're looking at shots and you're looking at shots on target, yeah, that's fine, that's well and good, but what you really want to see is the quality of the attempts at goal. Were they high quality chances, or were they just shots from range which were easy for Koga to claim? And you have to say most of the opportunities from Tampines in that second half were not high quality chances. They didn't really trouble that Albirex defense. It was shots from range, easy claims from Koga in the end. With the Albirex in that goal, and defensively they just held them out really well. They controlled the second half perfectly, I thought.
Let's have a look back at the best of the action then on what's been a bad day at the office for Tampines Rovers. It started so well, just 9 minutes on the clock after good work by Mark, Ryan Tan, Shah Shahiran and Armin. Boris Kapinovic with a classic number 9's goal.
Yeah, lovely work by Tampines. The way they brought the ball forward here, Mark Tan initially just carried the ball through up the pitch for Tampines Rovers. Eventually they worked a little bit of space for Bosniak down their left-hand side. Swung in a delightful cross, and Boris Kapinovic with a good finish.
Lead lasted 12 minutes. Taniguchi getting on the end of some lovely work from Ong Yuen, who had a great game for the hour that he was on the pitch. Takiwa with a pullback. Well, I think pullback's probably not giving it enough credit for that pass that found Taniguchi.
Yeah, I thought Taniguchi had a really good game for Albirex, and again, it's good work by Ong Yuen, just drawing the defenders towards him, holding on to the ball until it was the right time to release. A quality pass into Takiwa and a good cross for Taniguchi to finish off.
Into the second half, and this was the goal that decided it. Scrappiest goal I think we've probably seen all season. A complete scuff from Kondo. Mari Mahana with the unwitting deflection to wrong foot Shazwan, and see it trickle into the Tampines net. Unfortunate really, because if Mari doesn't get the touch, there would have been a player in an offside position who wouldn't have been able to finish it.
Yeah, I don't think Kondo catches it as well as he would have liked. But again, that work down the left-hand side from Albirex was very good. Manu Mahana getting beaten for pace by Taniguchi once again.
Tampines huffed and they puffed, but didn't really threaten the equaliser. Yasser Hanapi with a header that he couldn't quite get over. And in fact, Albirex probably should have added to their advantage. Suboy's missed some chances tonight.
Big chance. And again, you talk about high-quality chances. You have a look at Suboy's miss, and you can understand exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, just have a look at this. What a let-off for Dan Bennett and Tampines. I mean, it's incredible that Suboy's missed that. That is a big quality chance. It's not going to show up as a shot on target, obviously not because he scuffed it, but that's a big opportunity for Albirex to actually extend the lead here. It's incredible that it's, as I said in commentary, it's such a bad miss. It's actually great defending by Suboy.
How on earth did he get the spin on that ball there? That was route one. Now look at this with Suboy. This was the great side of his game. Great improvisation. Shazwan didn't know what was hitting him.
Yeah, he just got trying to catch the goalkeeper off guard in that situation, Suboy. It's a surprise shot. I don't think Shazwan's actually expecting that shot to come in. It's a clever bit of improvisation from Suboy in this situation, just to try and find the back of the net there. Fortunate for Tampines, ends up on the frame of the goal.
Do you think it was the right result?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think with with Albirex and the performance in the second half was the right result.
Okay, so Roshan Rai thinks it was the right result. Very good of Gavin Lee to speak to us so soon after the final whistle. He's down there with Farah. What does Gavin Lee think? Farah?
I'm sure you're pretty disappointed. What do you make of your performance today?
Yeah, I think we could have done a lot better in certain aspects of the game, and it's my job to go back and reflect and try to help the team to focus on the next game now and not make those errors where we've conceded goals from. So yeah.
But what exactly went wrong today? Just tell us how tough was it out there, because it's not like you haven't created at all today.
Yeah, no, I think first half we didn't do so well in terms of controlling our build-up. It was a very hot day. and we expended too much energy unnecessarily, and that affected our counter pressing, and our defense dropped too deep as a consequence of that. And so it was a chain effect that we need to get a lot better at.
Gavin, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Always very astute with this analysis, Gavin Lee. Do you take on board what he said there? Is he called it spot on?
Yeah, and I think it's pretty much what we said we highlighted in commentary as well. The fact that Tampines were dropping far too deep in their first half, inviting that pressure from Albirex, and again looking a little bit lethargic, but they couldn't expend that energy in the second half as well. We saw them not create anything of note. I've got to reiterate that. You know, it was a little bit lackluster from Tampines on the ball in the second half.
We will hopefully speak to Keiji Shigetomi, but while we're waiting for him, let's check in with what happened at our Tampines Hub, because that was some scoreline from there, the biggest margin of victory of the season so far, and this coming, of course, just 5 days after the Tampines Rovers put 7 past the Young Lions. We'll confirm the goal scorers and that score and the new league table for you in a minute, but Farah is now ready with Keiji Shigetomi, so we'll go back down pitch side.
Now with me is Keiji Shigetomi. Keiji, all 3 points for you today. You're back to the top of the table. Just tell me, how are you feeling right now?
I'm satisfied with the result. The players worked hard. But we have to prepare for the next match.
Keiji, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I should say, for those of you new to the AIA Singapore Premier League, it's great of Keiji Shigetomi to start doing these interviews because his English obviously is limited. But I mean, you know, again, a bit like Gav, they don't betray much emotion. He'll be very happy tonight, bearing in mind what happened last season.
He will be. I think they put in really good control in their performances, and we touched on the fact that perhaps Tampines were the bogey side coming into this one. They've overcome that. They've put up a really good performance, especially in the second half. From a tactical perspective, I think he'll be absolutely delighted with how well they worked and how well they controlled the game.
So, we promised you a Sunday sizzler. I hope we've delivered. I can tell you over 2 games today, there's been 11 goals in the AIA Singapore Premier League. 3 here and 8 at our Tampines Hub. Now, the goal scorers, I don't think I've got the confirmed score of the 8th goal yet. I know Stipe got 2, Gabriel Quack got 2, Diego Lopez got his first goals in Singapore football, and Sofula with another one. I'll confirm to see if either Quack or Stipe managed to complete a hat-trick. There it is, Sailors 8-0 winners. Albirex, we know, won here, and yesterday, Tanjung United, well done to them, lifting themselves off the bottom of the table with their first win in 2,361 days, and obviously also yesterday, Houang with the win that took them back to the top of the table until Albirex won here. The big losers on the day, Tampines, they're now down to 4th. The Sailors leapfrog them. Albirex back. The defending champions, where they're so used to being. In 4 of the last 5 seasons, they've been champions, and they look like they're going to be pace setters again. Now, do join Russian and myself on Friday. Please note the kickoff times and dates here. We've got Friday night football this coming week. Tampines Rovers against Geylang International. Houang United Young Lions on Saturday. Tanjung United and Albirex on Saturday as well. And the Lions City Sailors and Balestier on Sunday. Many thanks to you, Roshan. They're telling me to wrap, but very, very quickly, how good is the East Coast Derby going to be on Friday?
It's going to be great to watch. Expect a response from Tampines and Geylang.
That's the face you can trust. We'll see you on Friday night for the East Coast Derby. More live AIA Singapore Premier League action.